And welcome back. It is not, and yet again, we're back. Like LilKirbs said, we be back with Equan versus LilKirbs this time. LilKirbs being the 3 seed and Equan being the 6th for this match. For this series that'll determine who goes to pace. I'm Troy of Athens, and joining
is LilKirbs once again for another series, and oh boy, this one is pretty exciting. Now, we did have some pretty convincing 2-0s in a row brought to you by Nicro and Chaos, but for this one, I think it might be a little bit close. Actually, no, Econ has been putting in some practice specifically towards this matchup, so I'm ready to see what he has been working towards too.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun to see. I'm excited for this one. I'm glad that I'm able to be here for the start of this set because this is going to be fun.
And as you brought up, this is our first series between these two guys. So we are on a clean slate. This last match was obviously already a second series. This is the first series. And once again, just to briefly talk about the format, this is going to be the first out of potentially 3 best of 3s. Whoever wins 2 series is going to be qualified for pace. To bring that up again, Curbs is actually coming into this as the 3rd seed from the league, Equan 6th. So in all technicality, Curbs should have the advantage here by a little bit. But once again, this is obviously one of our closer matchups. The technical closest one being Stravos versus Sui Sega coming up next week. But this one has a potential to go either way.
Yeah, and I honestly want to say that in reality, a lot of these matches are pretty damn close. Like it's still very likely that upsets can happen here, and so I wouldn't put it out of here just because we got this isn't 4 versus 5, this is 3 versus 6.
Exactly. The question here is obviously, would Econ winning be an upset? I'd say yes. Econ tends to go for the more riskier strats over the course of the run. He goes for some crazy stuff. He might, especially in the early game, go for some more technical approaches. He's pretty good when it comes to actual in-game mechanics. But Curbs obviously not only having the better PB, but over the course of the league also been able to get more consistent good times. We've seen a couple hiccups from Econ here and there, maybe not playing up to the best level. Once he actually tried to go too crazy, he instead actually lost a lot of time for it.
Yeah, but you could also consider the idea that Equan is a lot of the people's next person on their radar to get sub-hour. So even though LilKirb has that 1 hour exact, LilKirbs also, both of these players actually are both on the radar to be people who everyone's expecting to be the next ones to get sub-hour.
Yeah, for Curbs, it's actually quite surprising that he hasn't been able to make it happen yet. He was the first to actually get that 100 flat. It took a while for people to even catch up. This one was incredibly scary. Everybody was basically prepared for the sub-hour to just happen as he entered Pillar Room, but it turned out it was a 100, and after a retime, I think a 100.5, so pretty much just like half a second between him and actually breaking that mark first. Now, once again, I know Econ has been practicing a lot specifically for this playoff. He definitely wants to go to pace. I'm not sure how much practice Curbs has done specifically for this race environment, but I do think, once again, he's favored when it comes to race times. He has been showing off that he can get good times regardless. Econ is in the lead right now. And looks like what they will be going for the wall jumpless first move skip right here.
Right, I did take note, and Equan did actually get a 2-second lead coming out of Cat Kingdom. Equan getting a 220 fade out, and LilKirbs getting a 222.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because you would think a 222 would be a very, very solid captain, but Econ, once again, as I just brought up earlier, going for the mechanical stuff then cap and actually getting 2 additional seconds just off of a little bit cleaner movement.
Yeah, and you can already see factoring just a little bit with Equan being able to be about half a hit, I'd say, right now, ahead on this Mad and Brutal fight.
Right. Gets the fight done first, but honestly, we've seen last race how much chess clip actually matters in this kingdom. This first part is obviously very important to get. You do want to make that first moon skip work, you do want to get a clean boss fight, but we've seen multiple seconds of time loss in chess clip. Not only once, but a lot in the league actually. Right, let's see if Econ is able to get this chest clip to work. Goes for the fast version. Opens the chest pretty quickly. Is able to clip through the ceiling. And makes the clipper pretty nice. Now, Curbs actually, on the other hand, is not able to clip here on the chest. So Econ will even increase his lead going into sand. Looks like he is going to be getting a pretty solid fatal time. Overall, very, very solid cap. Looks like a pretty clean cascade. And Econ showing off his early game mastery. 506, pretty solid stuff. Well, it should at least be, and it's nicely done. Assuming we won't see late crate from Equan though, this is the one strat that is, I don't think, really race safe at this point in time. But let's see if he's able to at least get the fast action guide skip, which in a race like this will definitely matter. Especially Equan will be caring very much about this fast action guide skip, since he has been putting so much emphasis on good early game times.
Ooh, not quite the fastest one there. Definitely had a visible delay.
Yep, that was probably a slow one, but not too bad. I don't think.
Yeah, it looks like both of them got pretty much an equal length. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Curbs actually got it on his screen, so he's actually making up some time on that mesh.
Okay, I am seeing it now. Yeah, it didn't look like it at first. Maybe I'm just not good at spotting it.
Yeah, it's a pretty slight difference, but looks like Curbs just made up a tiny bit of time. Now we will see Equan just head for that Rumble Room once again. This is the safe approach. He's one of the very few runners that actually has been opting for the late crate route. He's not going to opt for it today. Very risky, and in a race can cause you an absolute ginormous time loss.
Yeah, very, very good idea to be going for this this route in Sand Kingdom in a race scenario. Just like how I'm seeing like things going on in Celeste as well, with people have been opting to, I'm gonna say something that people don't necessarily know, but going for a checkpoint in a certain trick in Demo Dash instead of trying to go for it dashless, because you're risking losing less time.
Yeah. Even on the highest level of play, we'll still see different mindset when it comes to racing or attempts. Now, Equan is actually going to take a very costly bonkers, at least going to avoid getting damaged by the Goombas right there.
Yes.
I'm not sure how this Dram is going to treat them though, because the platform is moving towards that cap. If he
Still
gets it,
enough of a buffer right now that Equan is going to be able to remain in the lead, but it's definitely going to allow LilKirbs to get a little bit
Alright, damage controlled right there by Equan. I mean, at least at best that is what's possible. Still got the Dram strat, didn't take damage from the Goombas, basically just took that bonk and fell, but that lead is already not looking as convincing as it was previously. Now, Sneaslip is definitely going to have to say something about that, as long as, unless both of them get both clips first try here, which would obviously be pretty impressive. Looks like Equan will at least get the first one immediately.
LilKirbs is able to follow up on that just as well, and now both are going to be coming up on the second clip to be going for for going for the sand ones, and Equan is gonna fail on the first try, as LilKirbs is gonna do as well. Both of them having some trouble now, gonna be having a very tight bird cycle.
Pretty much one moon wrap apart right now. That one miss is actually not the end of the world. The bird cycle is tight, but since Equan is another bomb from Curbs now, that actually might affect the bird cycle.
Yeah.
It's still not going to cause the bird to be entirely gone. Once again, these guys usually grab the bird as he is arriving in the Oasis, not in the second lap. But that is making things a little bit more tight. Now, Equan is actually pretty well versed when it comes to this section of the kingdom, because if you go for this late crate route, you need to optimize this part as much as possible. So he definitely knows all of the quirks, so he should be fine. But we see if Curbs actually gets a visible effect on that cycle.
Okay, both are successful on the Jaxi skips and are going to be moving over to the Oasis, as Equan is going to be able to remain in the lead right now. And yeah, this match is crazy close, that we're getting like little bonks are right now just causing such an impact right now.
For sure, we see Equan here. Bird is still in the first lap. Basically gets kind of like a late crate bird cycle. Very optimal, actually. Really nice to grab the bird. But then now Curbs actually with an interesting adaptation, going down below to grab the bird from there, making that work pretty nicely.
Yeah, LilKirbs, I think, just realized how far ahead of the other moon that the bird might be, so was trying to do like a little path to, you know, like more of a straight line to kind of just beat the bird anyway, so that, because if he went straight for the ground pound moon, that bird might have been really out of the way and impossible to hit with Cappy.
Now, Equan actually had some pretty big issues there on the nodes, and Curbs, on the other hand, made the one spin throw nodes work and actually immediately visibly saving some time on that. Now, Cappy actually missed the globe there for one lap of the spin throw, but overall, on that last section, Curbs might have inched in a little bit closer, but Equan still in the lead here, and even after some visible mistakes, it's going to be getting a 10:08 for Curbs. We are going to be looking at a, looks like 10:13.
Right. 10:08 on Equan's side. And we are seeing that it's actually behind his splits as well. And yeah, just on the edge of a 10:13 for LilKirbs. So
Yeah,
5 seconds of difference, roughly.
For instance, Equan holds the best sand fadeout time with a 9:54. So just letting you guys know how much better you can actually go through sand. This once again would require the late crate route and really like a flawless early game. He's still gonna be happy with the lead, but now going into lake, we obviously have to go through lake clip and hopefully getting this first try to keep his lead. That's definitely what he wants. Matching curbs and wood is gonna be quite hard as well. Has just to roll into the cap and has to go for actually pretty optimal long jump back up. Obviously still going to keep his lead. Let's see late clip here. Getting Cappy to clip there, but he didn't trust it. I think he was seeing a fake clip right there. Ooh, and he still gets the fake clip. Even the Curbs actually also getting a fake clip. We are seeing both of them desperately trying to make Cappy to clip. Equan will be there first, but Curbs still struggling. I think this might be it. He does get the clip finally, and it looks like the lead pretty much didn't change at all. Both of them actually with some heavy problems there during the clip phase.
Yeah, it seems like both right now are having equal mess ups, and so the gap is about staying the same right now. Nothing has really occurred on a unbalanced level, so it's really just stayed the same.
That's obviously awesome to see in the sense of a close race, as this last section of lake is pretty much known to not be too hard. You see both of them will get the roll across the little bump on the bottom, and now we're going to be making their way through that underwater section. Fish movement does matter, but not too drastically. So I assume Equan will keep his lead throughout lake, and then Wooded is going to be definitely pretty much of a thriller. It's going to be very interesting to see that Wooded.
Yeah, this movement right now is looking pretty hot. We're getting some good down throws on both ends to capture that cheap sheep, followed by some good movement here to get this quote-unquote ground pound move.
Basically, yeah, you're right. You can actually get that with a ground pound.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's how I got it casually, because I didn't know that a fish spin would do it.
Dude, I still don't know how Nintendo was thinking that we find that moon. I guess through like talking to hints or something. I don't know. Anyways, what is quite important to say is that Equan is still keeping this lead into Wooded. I don't know what it is about Equan. Every time I watch an Equan race, it's like an exciting one. He likes to make things very, very exciting, and this race is looking very close, and I can't wait for this Wooded. Right, 13-14 fade out here for Equan in lake. Looks like pretty much still around this 4-second lead. Was a tiny bit more in sand maybe, but just almost not worth mentioning.
Yeah, LilKirbs able to make slightly a bit more time, perhaps due to the late clip mistakes happening. LilKirbs might have just gotten a little bit of a better luck there, but not much enough. Like, just not enough, really. I don't know if it vibrates for that move that we're talking about, but I know it does glow a little bit. Like, it does a little sparkle.
There's obviously also these little talk to hints, and that moon is called From the Broken Pillar, so as soon as you read that, you will actually know. But Curbs actually making a reoccurring mistake. This is something that we've seen from Curbs quite a lot, weirdly enough, actually missing that bunny. If he gets a quick backup here, and actually spin throws that bunny, pretty smart, not relying on a long jump,
giving a little bit of a slow on the bunny in order to reassure that they'll get that, but that is definitely going to hurt them. If Equan decides to not do tree route, this actually could allow LilKirbs to have a bit of an opportunity.
I do know that LilKirbs is not going to do it. Looks like Equan will though, so we will see some route difference right here. Kirbs always openly mentions that he doesn't really get the time save from this route that's needed to even make this faster, and because the time save of this is mainly in that uproot section. Now Equan is not getting the perfect uproot bounces, but still definitely good enough to save some time if his the rest of what goes. I was actually incredibly scared by Kirbs because of his angle on nut clip. It almost looked like only his foot was like out of bounds.
Ooh.
Oh no, he's sliding down.
No.
He's amazing save.
Okay. I always say the scariest part of these out of bounds areas is remaining out of bounds. And
Equan is playing it so safe.
Yeah, Equan is definitely going to be
Kirbs
on safer, but LilKirbs, falling down, not able to get the right jumps to get on top of this fence. Able to do it on the second try, but Equan is certainly appearing to be like even like it appears that they're close, but keep in mind that Equan does have a moon ahead, right? Given that he went for tree route.
He's still gonna rely on actually making flower road skip work without the roll cancel, so basically doing it from a long jump, coming from the nut around the corner. But as soon as they actually get to the Piranha Plant section, you will see Equan take a pretty tremendous lead. This Piranha Plant moon is around 20 seconds long, especially because of the cutscenes. Looks like Kirbs is hitting the Piranha probably a second earlier, so Equan might in fact actually have such close to as like a 19-second lead. If he gets flower road skip, which is the crucial part of this route. He does go for this long jump setup on top of the fence, will get the triple jump, makes it over there, and as soon as he actually grabs this moon, we do like to say they are safe. They're really not though, because they still have to bridge the gap over to the tower. As soon as he enters there, he will have a new set checkpoint. Enters the tower at 16:39. That's gonna be the number that we do want to keep in mind when Kirbs gets there, as he's still grabbing the nut on the crumbling tower. So let's see if he's gonna be able to make that last portion of movement across and entering this tower at 58 pretty much. So it looks like Equan is around 19 seconds ahead as predicted.
Yeah, so it is right that tree route does not save that much time, but there were a couple mistakes going on by LilKirbs' end with the bunny, and also having trouble with that route post nut clip that allowed for the gap to increase quite a bit right now.
Yeah. In an optimal world, the tree route actually saves more than 3 seconds, but that would require incredible uproot movement. You could find that in the best theoretical timesheet. If you get these amazing bounce and a super quick capture, you can get tremendous time save. And it's worth saying that the flower road skip that Equan did there is actually not even the fastest version, because obviously technically you could just do a power roll instead of a long jump on that fence. But the way he did it, he probably saved some slight amounts of time over Kirbs, who obviously had some issues on the ramp portion and on the out of bounds section. But Equan also playing the out of bounds portion very safe.
I do believe that Equan did not get the optimal route in that sewers right now. He did have to wait a little bit for the fuzzies to pass so that he would not take any damage. Whereas LilKirbs is able to get the optimal route there.
Yeah, so Kirbs definitely losing most of his time in this kingdom through the bunny didn't really lose so much time, but mainly through the ramp fail that Equan obviously avoided, getting an 18:30 fade out here, very solid still. Kirbs is probably gonna be, we'll see. We had a 19 second difference obviously entering the tower. Looks like he might have made it down to 18 right now, as he gets a 48.5 pretty much. So it looks like 18 seconds around the difference between these two guys. And
as we're about to approach the mid game with Equan in the lead, Equan in the lead right now, and it's really going to be quite interesting to see this whole series, the series as a whole, because we got it's the 3 seed versus the 6 seed, and the 6 seed is currently in the lead. Yeah. Like, if that is already happening,
to be honest, on paper, that should be expected, just because Econ is so well versed on early game, but he hasn't been really showing that in all of his races, so that's obviously a good step. Econ has been playing well, he is playing well right now. He even has the best segments for Kingdom, such as Snow, I think, in Metro. He just recently got some amazing snow times. I'm not sure if he still holds that best snow. Looks like he is, as I'm checking the best community SOB sheet here on the side. But usually, as far as consistency goes, Curbs is amazing at mid-game. Very scary opponent to worse there.
Yeah, so LilKirbs definitely does have a chance to turn it around. Ekwon, I believe, did have a little bit of trouble on that third phase, capturing the boxing hat thing. But it's not going to cost too much time. Yet again, the minor flubs are now not as much of an impact as they once were in Sand Kingdom. They're just simply little things that I can point out here and there.
Alright, it's lost time for Econ, who is not having any problems here with the meme tree. Very nice. Approaching the tree actually from the front. We've seen other runners do it from the side. I know approaching the tree from that side is actually something that I've seen Acrid do a while ago, and actually really like that. I know Econ has been adapting that as well. We see Curbs here. Actually, yeah, and that's why.
Wow.
He's coming to the tree from the side and actually doesn't get the cap return jump, has to land on the lower ledge and loses some time.
I thought, I thought for a second LilKirbs actually went for the vault, which is something that's gone for in Koopa free running. I thought and that's what I thought he just got, but no, that was not a vault. Or what?
Yeah, he
or
just
was it
missed the return jump. Just got like a normal jump, but that's fine overall. He still makes it up the ledge, which that's really what matters. But Econ with a little bit of faster movement towards the mainland. Ooh, curb spin putting into the wiggler.
That's going to cause a bit of time loss there. He's going to be getting a very good route over to this moon, though. As Econ is attempting cage triple jump, he's able to get there. And is now going to be going for the one under the bridge.
Okay, very solid lost by Econ. Pretty much flawless. Even gets the up throw dive out of the little alcove. That is hot stuff from Econ. He's going to be increasing
really
his lead even further.
Definitely, Econ is showing a very good display of skill. Able to do these little things that are allowing him to have that buffer, so that even though, yeah, LilKirbs might be very consistent with his late game, Ekwon is going to have this giant, is going to keep this gap going. But LilKirbs is also going to be able to get the up throw.
Hey, he's not taking that, dude. He's also matching Econ here. Chaos actually missing that earlier. Definitely not talented enough. By the way, don't take that seriously. That's just like an old meme from his channel. But both of them actually going for that little advance right now. I wanted to hype up Metro, and I think I get the chance to because these guys are still pretty close getting into the kingdom. So the funny thing about Metro is Econ actually has the best day Metro out of everybody, but Curbs has the best Metro as like a combined split. So Econ would technically outrace him in the day potion if both played to their absolute best. But Curbs would play better throughout the entirety of the kingdom, also night into the equation. So that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, you with the stats. I'm not looking at the Super Mario Odyssey stats right now, but you're certainly throwing them out there and it's helping out. It's good. It's good to hear this certain things. Like
yeah, I also have to deal with these guys in my Discord server, and they also brag about when that happens. And Econ is like, dude, I just got the best day Metro, and then Curbs is like, dude, I just got the best Metro overall. So I basically cannot even avoid these stats. But Curbs is actually going to be missing that first.
No, that is. Curves is not able to find their stride quite yet. They have been able to recover a little bit, but right now it's just seeming these big time losses just keep piling up for Curbs.
Absolutely, and Econ is not really yet making any mistakes for Curbs to be able to catch up. Now he has to still make this jump across the gap. It's actually quite low here, but it's still going to easily make that.
Yeah, had a very quick turnaround from getting on top there, of getting on top of the very top of the town hall in order to make the jump across. So it did seem like they might have had some. It was very risky, but it was able to use it well.
Alright, Econ on his first phase of the Wiggler. Wiggler might actually matter in this specific match. I mean, it almost matters in every match. It just happened to be that the last match was pretty convincingly won by Chaos, so we didn't really look at Wiggler much. But if Equan was to get some definitely worse RNG than Curbs here, we would immediately see the effect pretty much.
Yeah, a bad, like, of course, you know, a 3-cycle to a 2-cycle could definitely turn this.
Oh wait, was that the last fireball? Yeah, it was. So the Wiggler actually is going to start quite early, but Equan still making some pretty fast shots. Not the most optimal fight possible, because he spent some time actually shooting those fireballs, because he kind of was blocked by them. But overall still gets a solid 2-cycle.
LilKirbs going into their second phase now. We'll see what pattern he's able to get and if he's going to be able to react appropriately for it. I believe he also did go for Mecha Wiggler manipulation there, trying to get it to spawn at the bottom.
Misses the first shot on the Wiggler's head at first, and then also misses a little bit further. Does still get the 2-cycle, but I'm not even sure. It looked almost equal overall. In terms of those fights, Equan obviously making the Wiggler stop quite early, having to go for some weird shots afterwards. Maybe actually saving some time over Curbs in that section. But now, this is where Equan is supposed to thrive. This is Day Metro. And let's see if he can deliver. Very fast capture if that's gonna work, actually. Good stuff. But misses the drive-by scooter clip. Hopefully getting a quick backup, and he will. That's probably the best you could wish for. Still losing 5 seconds plus to this, but good damage control.
Equan also has some trouble with that dram strategy right there. Some of the trash was just getting in his way. Really just minor things getting it again, but it's still funny to see these things. But yeah, the scooter clip, clip fail is definitely going to be the larger impact.
Especially now, since Curbs was just able to get that one immediately. Currently playing very well at that start of Day Metro. It's also gonna probably, it looks like, at least Cappy likes to home randomly sometimes, but yeah, he will get that capture warp. Equan making it out of the... Actually getting a bonk on the exit of the girder. But other than that, has also been recovering quite well. First person strat here for the drummer. And is now going to play through the positions. Good time to talk about coins. As Curbs grabs the wall there for a little bit, losing some time. He's definitely totally fine. Not sure what Equan's coin code look like. 110, so both of them easy on their way to snow after this one.
Oh, and Curbs having a lot of trouble actually on the way to Pauline right now.
Pretty much tying up with Equan's mistakes on that girder section, getting a bonk on the fire hydrant. Pretty awful. Oh my god, the ultimate sync actually on the musicians. That's actually almost perfect. Curbs a few frames behind on that musician story moon.
Yeah, Equan is gonna be 2 moons ahead though.
True. Curbs has to grab them right now. Still keeping his lead, even after the scoot clip, not making too many mistakes, other than
interesting bonk, yeah.
Only a few more moons to be gotten here from Equan, and it's arguably some of the easier ones. You still obviously want to hopefully climb this tower optimally, but after that it's pretty much just descending down actually to the cafe, and then that last subroom is usually not too tricky, so he should be keeping his lead into snow. Oh, trying to go very fast into the subroom, actually getting a bonk on that entry, but once again, this is this is probably the worst thing that could happen in this section. You can get a bonk, you can get stunned somewhere, but other than that, there shouldn't be many big issues. Actually doing a little roll cancel jump into that moon, which is theoretically faster, but you really need the optimal rolls to get the most optimal time in this room.
Yeah, but there definitely could be a start of a bad omen here for Iguan, perhaps playing a bit more carelessly given the lead that he's currently developed.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a chance to look at this lead soon. I think the subroom usually takes around 17 seconds, just like completing it, and the warp afterwards is probably gonna take him about 10. Now, I'd see this lead could be close to 25. We'll
Is
see
this a sub
as...
30?
Don't think so. Just barely missed
Okay,
it
no.
there. Just barely. Probably gonna be like a 30:01. Yep, looks like it.
Wow, okay. Still really close to sub 30. Unfortunately,
This
was not
also
able
means
to
the
quite
lead is
get
actually...
that, though.
This also means this lead is actually more than 30 seconds, which makes sense because Curbs just made a mistake there on the awning. He tried to jump on it, but missed it, had to side flip back. Was probably more like 27, 25 before, but we are looking at a little bit more right now. This is more than 30 seconds. Yep, looks like a 34 from Curbs, so actually 33-second lead for Iguan.
Yeah, and both players now moving on to Snow Kingdom, both having good coin counts. Not going to be any sort of outcome that we had in the races before that, where Chaos had to do a different route entirely. But yeah, I'm just going to be looking at normal routes here, normal optimal strats.
Yeah, and if there's any kingdom that Iguan has recently been taking interest in, it's this king. Now, he definitely didn't get the most optimal way to get into Chevalier right there, but this entire kingdom is something that he's really been optimizing these recent days. I've seen him post a bunch of clips about it. He's also been getting the best time in it. So let's see if that did anything for this race.
Iguan getting some very good movement over to that chest moon, while Curve's taking a bit of a hesitation after getting Captain Toad. See if they're able to, see if Iguan's able to get the moon clip right now. Yes, is successful at it. Is now just gonna be having to do the setup into the loading zone. Yeah, that was really
that was a crazy angle.
That was really scary. I got very concerned that he was about to just straight up fall into the void.
Seems like I haven't really promised too much. His snow seems to be on point. We might see Curbs also going for that strat to actually go through the wall instead of making all the way across. Let's see if also going to be able to actually leaving two Spinies alive. That's not really optimal, but actually gets rid of them pretty quickly. Still having the camera pan a little less. Curbs also snow clip.
Yeah, Curves is definitely not playing quite as optimally as Iguan has been doing currently, as he's actually missing some of these spin pounds right now, and is definitely still struggling to find his flow again.
Let's see, it's time for Roomba Room. I've actually seen him post a clip in this room. I pray he's not going for this. Just don't do it in a race like this. I will explain it after it happens, just so it would be a surprise if it would happen. But there's this pretty interesting thing that he can do. I think he would try to go for it. It almost looks like it, because there's actually this weird thing that can happen where the Goombas are not on the switch yet, and then you uncapture them, and then they actually walk on the switch. And I've seen him do that. So he was actually closer to the ground when the Goombas walked onto the switch. It looked amazing, also looked very scary. There is more than one race today, so we might see it. I'm not sure if that was intentional. Really hard to actually explain, but you'll definitely see what it's about when it happens.
That does seem like a bit of RNG if that were to happen. Curbs is going to be taking another bonk, unfortunately, but we are going to be approaching Snowdram very shortly, and this could be an impact here. Being that, of course, as we all mentioned, the failed Snowdram can lose upwards of 10 to 15 seconds.
Ooh, Curbs is really feeding these up-throw roll cancels today. Just up-throw roll canceling into that moon looks quite hot. Actually, pretty weird input. You have to basically do the up-throw input and then press B, just a little bit delayed. But yeah, let's talk about Snowdram. This is the trick that really matters. Can cause you big time losses if you do miss. Iguan, incredibly fast setup, is gonna make that easily. He has been figuring out this trick ever since the get-go, and it's paying off these days. Such a high consistency on this one.
Yeah, Curbs is gonna be forced to answer right now and get the first try Snow Jam, or risk falling even further into deficit here.
Yep, and Equan's timer is closing in right here. Looks like a 38 exit time here, meaning that he actually got a 4:37 Snow. Pretty solid stuff. 2 seconds of the best time, so that's solid for Snow.
Yeah. Curbs
also
is
check-
able to get the first try Snow Jam this time around.
Nice, even getting the Vector into the cap bounce there at the end, a little bit faster than Equan, who probably missed that because I know he usually goes for this. Let's also check the timer still. Once again, 38 was the fade-out time for Equan leaving this kingdom. We're going to see what Curbs is going to be getting here shortly. Looks like a 15. So Equan's lead at this point still growing a little bit. Probably saved around 3 seconds over Curbs throughout this kingdom, looking at more than 35 right now. Now, Seaside, once again delivering some stats. That's always exciting when the race is this close. Is actually the kingdom where Curbs currently still holds the record with a 3:20, which is an amazing time. I know Equan also knows how to play this kingdom, but maybe Curbs just figured out the fish move a little bit more, and we'll see at the end of this kingdom if that actually plays a factor. Now, there is obviously some risky sections in Seaside, such as the clip section. Not necessarily the clip, but getting the moon afterwards can cause you real trouble if you miss the moon grab there. Then you actually have to talk to the Sphinx if you clip back in. Right, let's see if Curbs is also going to be able to make this movement over to the fish as clean as Equan did earlier. Equan actually opting for a roll cancel jump and a double. Curbs is just going to be getting a triple jump instead. Should be around the same. Equan maybe made a little bit better use of the homing throw, but this is some very minimal stuff. But so far, Equan has really been playing fantastic. We have been getting some hype that he apparently did some practice. I mean, heavy practice before this matchup, and so far, it seems like that was true. Fish clip happening right now. Equan will get that to work. Now he just needs to focus on actually grabbing that moon without clipping back in, as Curbs is inching and closing. Ooh, I'm not sure if I like this spot too much. He should be fine as long as he holds right, and he gets it.
Ooh, Equan having a bit of trouble going towards the Sphinx moon there, though. Is going to be able to close out the kingdom, but is definitely going to lose a little bit of time right.
Yep, and that's actually going to be quite interesting because I feel like he has been playing just a tiny bit faster throughout this kingdom than Curbs, just because he did like the spin pound out of the alcove from the third moon. He did like this little roll cancel jump, but Curbs now actually will be losing some time over Equan as he's struggling to grab that moon, and he's rightfully playing the save. I did mention this is the scary part, almost actually pokes his nose into bounds, but is going to be able to stay out of bounds. And while losing some time to Equan, still closing out Seaside.
Yeah, the other out of bounds movement that is definitely scary, where you're not done once you're out of bounds. You got to remain out of bounds, and that can be easier said than done.
For sure, but now it's luncheon time, and even though Curbs holds the record for the best luncheon, and if there's any kingdom that Equan dislikes, at least that used to be the case, it's luncheon, and he's already making this first mistake, not getting a trip jump, even failing salt
second
again,
try
and Curbs,
now. Yes, having to go on third try with that to get up on the wall there. That is definitely going to be costing him some time as he's going to continue on luncheon, and Curbs is going to be coming up on his tail.
And Curbs really has luncheon figured out. Like, you can see him make visible mistakes, and he still ends up getting a 609. This man understands his kingdom probably the best out of everybody. Equan still showing off this amazing ball cancel strat. He does it every time, and it never gets old. Looks absolutely stunning.
right you are. It definitely is cool to see things like that, being able to just, just roll effectively towards the towards Spewart instead of having to do an actual jump of any sort.
Right, let's see. Curbs also now starting up this fight. Even actually getting an unintended cap throw, I think, at the start. Also going for a little fancy strat there. These guys are also competing for style points, it seems. Curbs
Wow,
with
yeah.
the traditional zoom in first person, something this man has culturally established. Let's not forget this, the origins of the first person zoom in, founded by LilKirbs in 2018.
Right. Curves is also going to be able to do the roll cancel. It seemed a bit scary at first, like he was going to bonk into the wall, but similar to the Madame Brutal fight in Cascade, the trigger does bleed a little bit past the actual...
Okay. Equan doing the technically optimal strat for this, and he actually did roll pretty much across the entire section, so he might have saved some time overdoing the jump across the lava. Which what's funny is this used to be the fastest version of doing this movement, and then people timed the jump to be quicker. But nowadays, since we know better move to actually get up there and do quicker rolls, those rolls are optimal again.
Yeah, this is some really good movement coming out from Equan though. This is crazy impressive stuff, and like a lot of things that I don't think everyone's seen before. It's not quite taking the usual path.
Very quick spin point there to obtain the moon atop a column in a row. Will get the spin throw over. Doesn't get the vector to quite reach as long as he makes it in time to actually still catch the Potaboo.
That's a good vector from Equan right there. It was really cool.
Yeah, he did get a quite a drastic vector. It was slightly too much. Usually you want that spin pound to reach the island, that roll cancel, but he was a little bit too far to right, so he had to dive, but still caught the Potaboo in time. We see maybe Curbs is going to be able to make that roll cancel work. If you do, it looks amazing. You will run across the island, kind of shoot across the salt and capture the Potaboo before it even gets out of the lava, but he just went for the normal spin point. That's the safe strat. Does the dive anyway. Is still going to grab the Potaboo. Oh, maybe not actually. Didn't uncover that moon. That is weird, because that looked to me like
wait for the
been on the spot.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait for the cycle there on that Potaboo.
I would feel robbed, dude. I mentioned earlier how these ground pound spots sometimes just don't acknowledge spin pounds. That's true for the one in Lost, for the one in Sand. But this one not acknowledging actually lost him 5 seconds because the Potaboo was gone.
Equan opting to go very safe with his turnip throw there for
respectable, and he gets rewarded for it because he gets it immediately. This guy is not letting any time run away from him at the moment, and I mean, talking to him and like listening to him, I know he really wants to go to pace and show off his mechanical skill and his ability to run this game. Wow, Curbs long jumping into the wall, definitely not intended. But yeah, Equan is showing off at the moment. He's playing incredibly well.
Yeah, it ultimately feels right now that Curbs is just not feeling this run, and so we'll perhaps be trying to just think about the next race, considering that this is just the first game of the series. He still has at least 5 more games.
Yeah, I guess at least 5 more. I guess at least 3 more.
Yeah, 1 more in this set specifically. But, and then if it goes 2-0 in the next one.
Yeah, then I would at least.
Okay, at least 3 more. Sorry, at least 3.
Yeah. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Curbs obviously doesn't want Equan to fall, and usually I think it's really good of you to bring up that point, because I like to emphasize on the fact that sometimes it might be worth to actually conserve your energy. But in this race specifically, I'm not sure if I'd quite agree. This late game portion is still very risky, and it's not like Equan is leading by minutes. This guy, I'm not sure what he does with his hands, but he can just do things that others don't, like the spin pound, spin throw, roll cancel to get the moon. Dude, why even? But
Monk at TOS right there. Oh my god. I'll let Equan keep what he does with his hands between him and himself. Like,
Probably the
seriously.
best. That's probably the best. Anyways, he's gonna go to Ruined. He still can't skip this one. Doesn't matter how good his mechanics are. He's gonna have to go through this kingdom. Curbs is gonna have to do the same with Joel, so just finished up Luncheon Kingdom. But it's worth to say that this is still a very solid exit time here for Luncheon. Not like anything. Probably PBing is probably impossible unless he completely steps up his game. But this was a very solid Luncheon. Once again, Econ speed is a 100.25. He is certainly still on 100 pace.
And something that people have been, someone pointed out to me recently, or at least I saw someone point out before recently, for Ruined, is that, yeah, while the boss itself you can't really optimize anymore, there's still some optimization to be done just before triggering the fight to get to the pylon that I'm seeing being done a lot more.
That's probably realistically the only thing that can still grow. I mean, technically we could also still see some improvements on this boss, such as this crumble, which was actually almost perfectly timed right there. You also obviously want to unplug these swords as fast as possible. Now Curb's actually going for very good movement towards
that
the
was
pylon.
Really cool. I don't even know fully what just happened there with that movement, but it looked fast. I don't know how to ever.
You basically
like,
long jump up
recreate.
these steps, and even though you would think you would bonk, for some reason those steps actually let you pass with the long jump, so you get really quick rolls.
So doing a roll cancel into
no, you literally just
jump.
roll long jump, and the long jump, the stair lets you like pass, and you immediately get rolls again. Usually you would think you'd bonk, but I guess the condition there that just doesn't really work. Good stuff though by both of them so far. Econ is already in this last phase. Actually, this Ruined went past pretty quickly. It didn't even give me a chance to talk about pace briefly. I'm still gonna throw it out there. These guys are competing for a spot at pace or first live competitive speed running event taking place at the end of this month in Maryland. And if you guys want to get some more information, because Econ is about to go into Bowser's, type in ! pace. Registration still open. Speedrun content 24/7. Cannot miss out on that one.
Gonna have some great people there at pace. I myself am gonna be running a game. Will not be commentating. I know LilKirbs gonna be commentating at pace itself. But definitely gonna be cool to see, and
for sure, especially if you
all
just
your
think about these matchups, dude. Like, I mean, it doesn't even matter who of these, like, which one of these races is gonna win specifically. I mean, obviously it does matter for them, but in terms of like the hype matchups we are gonna have, we will see Chaos over there, we will see Nitro over there. Just seeing matchups like Nick versus Chaos, potentially Equan versus Chaos Live. That one would actually kind of be like an anime fight, dude. Equan versus Chaos Live. These guys have been pretty much teasing each other ever since I remember. I remember when Equan took the record from Chaos. And I mean, they're obviously very close friends as well, but I would love to see that matchup. Obviously, I would also want to see Curbs go in an optimal world, but only one of them can proceed. Now, Equan did get a 37 fade out here on the Ruined split. Let's see what Curbs will get here, because it looks like he might have, over the course of the last game, this might have still lost a little bit more time. Okay, let's see. Banner is done. Fade out here, 21. Okay. 37 to 21, so we got... Looks like 44-second difference, actually, between Equan and Curbs right now. And that is actually growing to some pretty big heights. There is still mistakes, obviously, that Equan could be doing here, but it's almost at a level where he needs to mess up stuff in Moon. Like, even a fall at Harriet 3rd might still allow him to keep his lead at the moment.
Yeah, I believe something like that can cause up to like a 30-second deficit.
Pretty much exactly.
So with it becoming greater than 30 seconds right now, it definitely could be that Equan is going to need a larger mess up than just that.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good call. I've missed. I didn't even mention it anymore. Equan with some very fancy movement towards that pylon, but also worth to note that he did pick up one extra moon. Equan always likes to pick up the moon behind the big wall where you use the capture warp, as he misses the life back shard here. But using the capture warp to get that moon is actually just in an optimal world, barely slower than getting the run behind the crates. Equan just doesn't like picking that one up. You have to deal with some wonky camera angles, so that's his personal preference strat, and he's probably not losing any time to it. Now, I do want to remember that one race we had pretty early into the league, where Equan was on a similar race like this, very consistent stuff, very crazy movement still in there, and then he ended up with a double death into D-skip. Now, you guys can call me out trying to jinx Equan. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I just want to let you guys know that I would be incredibly excited for Equan to actually close out a race like this, but with this guy, I'm always a little bit unsure until he actually shoots out of that wire at the end.
Right, I'm not sure about whether or not Equan specifically is going to be doing something like this, but I know that it has happened that, like, honestly, any sort of comeback that could happen in a race has happened in this season.
Yep. Okay, now this is news to me, because Equan just did the spin pound after the first person strat, and now he's actually missing it. As I was praising him for it earlier, because what? Wait, I just realized he still hit Harriet. He missed the spin pound and his spin throw still hit the bomb bag. That's actually insane. How can you be that lucky, dude?
Yeah.
And he made it work on the last try as well, still going for the spin pound.
Essentially essentially only losing like a little bit of time there, making it work for him right there. Adapting. Improvise, overcome.
Alright, okay, now fighting with Topper, having some issues at the start and maybe not the very fastest way right there. But nice. Overall, still getting a solid Topper. Is fighting Harriet first, both of them will do that. I don't think it's even time for some banter here because this race is so intense. We should probably keep the banter between these two fights for the next one, because this is still incredibly close. Now, Equan is a moon ahead, keep that in mind. LilKirbs is gonna have to get the moon behind the crates, and Equan is already set with his moon count.
Yeah, right now, in terms of the commentator and the racers, I am clearly outnumbered in the Topper first versus Harriet first debate, so I think I will concede for right now and just choose to follow the racers, as Equan will be going towards climbing and will be not getting this this crate moon right now, as he is going to be already having that one from the birds before.
And what he did right there is basically the exact reason why he does that. He was able to have a free camera going across that gap, which makes the jump a lot easier. If you grab that moon in the crates, the camera will not turn for a little bit after leaving the pipe, so you can either wait, which is obviously slow, or you can just do that jump blindly, which we are probably going to be seeing from LilKirbs, but makes it a little bit scarier.
And LilKirbs having some fairly good movement with the crates. I think was just a tad bit shaky on it. It's really, right now, not what we're going to be looking for as to really see what's going to be huge impacts at this point. We're really looking for the big things if anything is going to cause a lead change or any larger gaps.
And these big things are happening on the left screen. Equan already with a pretty amazing climb. Pretty much what he wants to see at this point, but still having to go through the Harriet third section, and not even that will be the last hit, but we also obviously have to see that target acquired. Harriet.
Yeah, he's going to be setting up for it, gets Harriet third right now, and here comes the setup for that part. He's going to be able to Kathy throw right into it and get the target acquired.
Good stuff. Equan done with Mac. And once again, I did bring up that his Moon caused him some trouble in one of his races. Now, Curbs is obviously taking Mario
Yeah.
to a wild ride right there. Let's also focus on Curbs first, probably, before we even predict anything that could happen to Equan here, who has a solid lead right now, because he still needs to get past this section, especially the last Bull Meta, which is the one he's more likely to miss. Hopefully getting fast spin pounds, quick dives, fast spin pound. Done with Mac. It's a race up until Moon.
Yeah, LilKirbs also gonna be doing some more fun with first person mode while waiting on top of the mech there before hitting Harriet. So is definitely aware of his pace right now for this run and is just kind of having fun with it while he still can.
Okay, let's check out fadeouts here now. Equan, this is really good. This is on pace to beat Chaos's runs from earlier in terms of this fadeout happening here. Globes still collecting the power moons right here, but looks like this is going to be a 25 fadeout. The best we've seen from Chaos was a 37 earlier here at Moon, so beating that by 12 seconds. I'm not sure if Equan is up for the task to actually beat Chaos's Moon time he had in the last race, because Chaos had some pretty solid pillars over there. But yeah, this is a good run. Not PB pace for Equan, but a very, very solid time if he actually manages to clutch out this Moon. Right, time for some Moon Vectors here. Outside movement, while potentially not being as risky as the escape section, still pretty crucial for a good completion time for the Moon Kingdom.
Yeah, very good ones from Equan coming out though.
Yeah, that looked pretty solid. He's gonna try to grab both flowers here. He's gonna manage that while Cappy is returning to Mario, and now it's time for Moon Cave skip. Hopefully not going for any weird shenanigans, just opting for the normal one. This is what I would do in Equan's position, but then again, it's Equan.
And keep in mind, I believe he just did another vector there after getting those rocket flowers. So he was able to optimize even further. And, okay, LilKirbs getting a bit further with his with his vectors than Equan was able to. Not impactful enough, but it's definitely something to see. These pathings that Curbs have may be a bit superior to Equan.
Equan is knocking on the door and now fighting Bowser, going for the spin thrust that she at the start. I wouldn't really expect... Once again, this lead that he has been working for and that he has actually acquired is pretty nice. Now, Curbs actually pretty cool spin. Not spin pound, but side flip there on top of that section of Moon Cave skip. But once again, there's not much that Curbs can do to win this unless Equan makes a major mistake. And even mistakes in this fight wouldn't be enough. It would need to be anything in this escape section. We say this a lot. I feel like I'm like repeating myself, but this is obviously always apparent, always true. A mistake in the escape can immediately delete your lead.
And Equan is now going to be going into the final hit for Bowser as he's just waiting for these flames to end. This lead is, at least right now, not going to be seeming to have any threat.
Gets the head, gets the punches, and all he needs to do right now is count. Oh, he actually punched him once, but I'm pretty sure that's unintentional. It happens sometimes that you get like an unintentional motion. Doing it once again, I feel like this is probably unintentional that he got the motion control there, because there is this weird thing happening sometimes where you just forget in which phase you are, and then you start punching sooner than you should, and then Bowser swipes you and jumps away. But it doesn't happen to Equan quite here, and it's gonna make his way into the escape to D-skip, threatening him. Pillar root technically threatening him, but I personally haven't seen him make a drastic mistake there. To D-skip is the one kind of holding my breath. Oh no, dude, why? Dude, I don't like you, Equal, I don't like you. You're making my life hard. Why is the one race he just needs to
Intentionally.
close out? He still needs to do. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't really be too risky because he knows what he's doing. But if you're like a little bit too slow right there, you're just dead. And yeah.
He's intentionally doing really risky pathing.
Okay, you got this. He
Okay,
gets it. I'm not biased, by the
successful on
way.
the
I
2D
just want this guy
skips.
to finally close out one race.
Yeah, and an upset is definitely a fun way to fun thing to start out a series. So it's not necessarily rooting for one way or the other. Just simply, wanting to get a very interesting race. Like I feel the commentators are always rooting for the most entertaining outcome, not necessarily rooting for
100%
one
agree.
person over the other.
100% agree with this one. If this one didn't deliver, I don't know what did. I mean, we've seen some crazy stuff in this league. Let's not forget that. But we are in for a ride in the series if we keep seeing races like this. Now, Curbs is also going to be able to make it through the 2D section, but Econ was able to get that first pillar time. All he needs to avoid right now is weird invisible wall shenanigans. As long as he's able to do that, he is going to take the first win of the series. Pillar falls. Oh my god, dude, I didn't like that jump. I don't know why he jumped to the right.
Early.
That was like the last thing that he could have done. Oh,
That was
whatever.
such an early jump to go to that final area. Able to time it just right so that he didn't fall and get prone to Inviswall, but it still looked like he might have gotten Inviswall there. That was a very risky jump. Regardless, he's gonna be taking the first win here.
103x coming out of Econ right here, the best time of today, and I'm not sure if anybody in playoffs had a better time yet. I mean, Nick might have gotten some amazing times. Once again, we do have some more dedicated stat guys when it comes to all of the single matchups, but that's pretty amazing. Honestly, maybe Chaos had a better one yesterday. I know Chaos was playing pretty amazing yesterday, but 100.39, crazy stuff coming from Econ. This is very close. This is 19 seconds of his PB. So good stuff. Now Curbs also getting a 101.13 here, not too far behind. We are in for a ride, ladies and gentlemen. The series is about to deliver, but let's give these guys a around 2-3 minute break to quickly catch their breaths. And Troy and I will be back shortly to give you guys commentary for the next match. Alright, guys, and I'm back. Curbs are already back on the screen. About to start his next race against Equan. And this series is looking pretty hot right here. Equan taking the lead 1-0. But if there's a chance for our first best of 3 to go to 3 games, this is probably the one with the best chances. Equan getting ready himself. And we should be on our way shortly here for match number 2 between Equan and LilKirbs. First series of this playoffs matchup. And here we go. As always, starting it off with Cap Kingdom. Equan was able to acquire his lead pretty much from Cap on. And now that I'm thinking of it, I'm not sure if he ever lost that lead. There was this one point in the run where both of them were trying to do Lake Clip. But other than that, I don't think we've seen Equan lose his lead throughout that last match. Pretty much kept it throughout the entire game, kind of grew it through the mid-game section. It's actually especially wooded as well, is where he really started growing his lead, since Curbs ended up failing that ram section. But yeah, kept his lead throughout the run. Now he is also, once again, holding onto a tiny lead here now, activating that bridge. But we are talking minimal time saves, which is obvious going into Cap, but still something worth pointing out. Let's look at left side though. This is still, up until this point in time, a very drastic trick for Cap completion. Looks like both of these runners will be able to get it though. And Equan's starting off topper very quickly. Actually getting the occasion where you get both of his heads off on this second hit. Curbs will get hit there at the very end, actually losing some time throughout the fight.
And apologies for jumping in here late. I did take a bit of a longer break than the other people in this call, it appears.
I cannot blame you at all. This first race was pretty exhausting and didn't miss much, honestly. Equan starting off strong again. I was mentioning how Equan actually was able to keep his lead throughout the entire last match. There was this one section during Lake Clip where they were close again, but other than that, he was always ahead. And Curbs had some mistakes there in topper, but that's been about it. Equan holding around 2-second plus lead now going into Cascade, but that's about it.
Yeah, talking about consistency, Equan getting a pretty much same exact split. Yeah. Probably not to the frame, but definitely to the second for Cap Kingdom there.
I'm pretty sure he actually matched what Curbs got first race. I think Curbs got a 22 and he got a 20. I think now he got a 22 and Curbs got a 24, right?
I thought that was a 20.
Was it 20? Maybe I was looking at Curbs' timer. You might be right. Maybe I was confused right there.
Which is why I was saying the consistency was there for Equan.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if it actually happens. I just got confused by it first because I thought it was a 22. Doesn't matter much. He is in the lead, looking around the same lead than last time.
Okay, and someone agreeing with me in chat, so... I think, yeah, we're say that was a 220. Oh, okay, and Equan actually confirming it himself, so there we go.
Alright, good work, guys. Will still not matter in the grand scheme of things. Taking a nice lead here in Cascade. Let's see how chess clip goes though, because this has been a section where Curbs actually lost a pretty big chunk of time last matchup here, not getting the clip.
So Equan is definitely going to be developing the first part of this lead right now, but definitely we're still very much at the stage where it could flip the other way.
Yeah, for sure. This last section of Cascade is still kind of underrated, even though I'd say the movement's probably more intense at the start throughout that first Moonskip section. This section can still be scary, especially on the part that Econ is about to get to, going for the very fast chest clip, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it also depends on which chest clip you go for here. There are actually different ones that could be a bit more optimal than the others. And oh, Curbs is gonna be failing it, not quite getting high enough on that out of bounds, and so is gonna be zipped right back inbounds and forced to go the long way around.
Yeah, that Cascade by Equan was insane. Actually, pretty nice work. Wow, that was almost 45. I think it might have been the 46. I'm talking about 246. Yeah,
That's a 506.
Yep.
Exit.
246. Cascade by Equan, pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, what's the IL for that?
45. So it's like
Cap
1 second of the
Cascade.
best Cascade.
Cap Cascade is
A 504.3. That's like insane because
okay.
it's Danster and he gets like 218 caps. So that doesn't really count. But doesn't matter. This is still an amazing run by Econ so far, and taken a nice lead here. Curbs this time. Not really getting the fast action guide skip. Actually didn't see if Econ got it.
It's gonna take a lot more than fast action guide skip to change the tide right now, given how good of a run Equan has just started.
Doesn't matter how good this run is, he wants to go to pace, so he will not opt for the late crate route, which would be absolutely ridiculous in a setting like this. Gets an amazing spin pot in this room instead. You can still slightly improve this room depending on how fast your spin point is and how good your angle is leaving it. Let's see this section here. The ice pillar section. Econ's still going for the spin. I always say spin, but it's a side flip on that lower ledge. Probably wanting to go for a little roll cancel jump to get on the higher ledge. Just had to casually walk up a little bit because he missed that.
That sand ram.
Yeah, nice cap return jump.
That was a really smooth. Yeah, the cap return jump that he had over there that Curve just went for. Yeah, Equan was just, that was. Sorry, the air, he had like such like the minimal air time to get to the platform, and then had a good cap, and then timed the cap return jump. It just like it
actually nailing really the hardest trick of sand, which is the spin pound on that moon. By far. Not gonna lie. Once again, the spin point sometimes just doesn't treat you right. Curbs will also make this work. Sometimes the hitbox do not quite
Equan getting second try on the Sphinx clip. And so we're gonna see if LilKirbs is gonna be able to, nope, right there, gonna be getting second try as well, but we still have another clip to go through. Equan is gonna be able to get first try on the second part, so we'll have some very comfortable cycles to be dealing with in the Oasis. Let's see if Curves is able to follow suit.
Like second try clip for him. Oh, he might have
Wait, that does not look like good positioning. Yeah, he is inbounds right now. He's going to be forced to take the pipe right there. That is a big time loss, actually.
It's fine. Honestly, it's better to clip back in. It's better to clip back in on this one, and obviously, if you do single clip, because if you do single clip, you have to talk to the swings or you have to do pipe clip. It looked like Curbs was confused there for a little bit, almost trying to go for pipe clip, maybe not entirely sure what to do, but just opted for the pipe, which is obviously just a safe backup as he misses the moon on the pillar. That's interesting.
It's okay.
It's going to be able to make Jaxie's skip work, but this is such a... I feel sorry for Curbs because this is obviously a very awkward situation to be in. After making a mistake like this, you're probably getting a little bit more nervous. Obviously, Equan is making...
Yeah,
is throwing the pressure at him, you know?
Curbs is definitely gonna get his confidence back. Equan has shown that he has the skill to take a win off of Curbs right now, and so Curbs is definitely feeling the pressure.
Yeah, that's obviously something that plays a pretty big role in a series like this. Alright, this is not the worst thing in the world, obviously. Really awkward time loss to see, so I can't really tell you at all how much that must have lost, because it's just something you don't really see. He is still gonna make the one spin throw notes work, so still being able to play this section of the run well. But let's look at Equan's fade out here inside, because this might be a 10:02
Wow. Holy crap, yeah, you might be right.
without the
Yeah, that
mage
is a
plate, so
10:02.
that's pretty fast. Missed the first clip once, which probably lost him the 10 flat, which is just crazy. But yeah, still pretty much one of the best exit times for sand you could ask for, especially in this race scenario. Now Curbs with the 29. This is a 27-second difference heading into lake, which is a lot, let's be real, but not a lot if you think about the entirety of the race. There's Wooded, which is a very strong kingdom for Curbs, and we obviously have the entire run to go through afterwards anyways. Okay, it's lake clip time again. And if anything, actually, this is the clip that has been causing both of them some issues in this last matchup. Now, Equan wasn't confident that was going to work. Is going to get at least this clip third try, not having to deal with a fake clip this time, which is actually one of his biggest time losses in that last race. But gets through the ball quite in time. Maybe not saving much time, just a little bit. At least breaking even, though.
Curve's gonna be having a pretty fast setup into the leg clip right now. Not much of any sort of fake clips going on there, but Equan is gonna actually do a minor bonk right there before capturing the cheap sheep down here, so gonna be losing time there.
Weird.
I didn't fully see it. I just saw the aftermath of the bonk, so I knew that it happened.
Yeah, having to grab the fish in quite the weird spot because of that, obviously. You do need to space out the roll to right to make that happen. Curbs is going to be able to do that, gets the down throw, saving some time in that section over Equan. Nice angle on that grab. I mean, I guess not the grab yet, but at least the activation of the Pillar Moon here. Pretty solid ending to this lake. Equan was doing well for himself though, so he's going to be keeping at least his 25 seconds into Wooded. Curbs taking a little bit of a dip, but that's not going to lose him much time.
Right, I actually do think that Curbs has been able to close the gap a little bit in this kingdom. But there's nothing really huge in lake that would allow him to have taken it back just yet.
Alright, that's a pretty easy instance to look at. It's a 13 flat failure. Looks like Curbs is probably going to be getting a 22, I think. I mean, it depends. This cutscene is not exactly 20 seconds. Usually these cutscenes take about 20 seconds, but there's not many moons in Lake, so this is a shorter one. Yeah, looks like he will be getting a... Okay, never mind. It's still a 23. 23-second difference. So Curbs, in fact, saving some time. Actually, yeah, that's 4 seconds that he made up over Equan.
Yeah, just superior pathing coming out from Curbs.
Also avoiding any nasty bonks, which obviously matters.
Yeah, the bonk also probably was a huge factor in those 4 seconds. Sitting a bonk is, what, like a second and a half?
Yep. Almost obviously always matters where it takes place. If you bonk in a high place and fall down, that's worse. But on flat ground, it can lose you close to 2.
Yeah, it was just the animation itself being about 2 seconds.
Right, so we will see the route difference here once again. Equan is going to be opting to capture the upload here, gets at least a very nice first boost. So as long as he plays this route well, he is going to be saving time over Curbs, just because of the route this time. That obviously requires him to play well throughout the kingdom now, because Curbs is just going to make his way through the stream. Almost going to be seeing some synced up nut clips happening. Equan going first. Curbs getting a bonk right there, though.
Another one though.
Wow.
This is Curbs. You gotta get back into this. The flow is still not found for Curbs. He's gonna be able to get out of bounds though.
That's
so
important.
That part is the very important part. So is able to stay going on here, but he's this movement right now not quite able to. Having similar flubs to the first race with that out of bounds movement. Is gonna do a dive towards the wall instead of away from the wall as a bit of a safer optimization, I believe.
Yeah, if you don't have enough height, that might be the safe play. I do want to give credits to Curbs though, because he made that mistake twice and he backed it up twice. This is a pretty precise dive. If you miss this dive, you will bonk and leave that out of bounds section. So that deserves some credit for sure, showing off that he is able to, correct that mistake, and that's crucial.
And Equan going for the checkpoint there as a good way to make sure that if they die here, they still have a very, will have a minimal time loss.
Oh, Curbs actually getting the ledge grab that Fur had to deal with earlier, but he still went for the spin point, roll cancel out of the maze regardless. But let's look at Equan here, because this is the crucial part. He just bridged that gap, doing the flower route skip even with the tree route, so he's going to be saving some time with that route.
Yeah, getting the checkpoint does negate a little bit because it is not the optimal path, but it definitely is worth it to do in a race scenario.
Probably, for sure. Right, Equan opting for the spin pounds here in the tower. Pretty nice stuff. Doing one upload boost along the path, and then another one to actually get into this little alcove. We'll be able to get this moon quite fast, and all he needs to do right now is the skewered skip movement to be able to close out Wooded with definitely a growth in terms of lead, because he has been playing fantastic through this Wooded. As he bonks, obviously, but...
Yeah, Equan, it seems both times not going for buffered jumps on the jump down from Spewirt's.
Right. Good movement across the kingdom to get the nut around the corner. And it's time for flooding Pipeway right now. Pipeway is in fact flooding. Once again, this is a cycle-based room. You can go as fast as you want. You still need to be at least paced correctly to be able to make it through this cycle of the fuzzies. Equan is able to get that dive, not getting any dropped inputs, and is going to close out Wooded very nicely. We'll actually be able to see what this Wooded time was. If you think back, Equan was getting a 13 flat lake exit right here, and it's looking to be like maybe a 16. I think this is going to be a 16, 18, 16. So 5-16 Wooded. Some minor mistakes overall, but still pretty solid Wooded time.
Curves is also able to get the optimal sewers path there, and is going to be closing out Wooded Kingdom for themselves.
Alright, it's cloud time once again. Let's see what these guys have prepared for us. I'm expecting some unique movement from Equan here. Yeah, actually no, just, I mean, whatever works, I guess. Going for a long jump into spin throw and diving across. I know he's been messing with some other interesting options there, but this works just fine. Ooh, but Curbs though, going for a little bit of a fancy approach over the clouds. Keeping his momentum, doing a spin for roll cancel. Style points acquired. Looks like Econ was able to close out Cloud nicely. Curbs now in the second phase of the fight himself, having to go for the manipulation here to make Bowser jump a little bit less. He will only jump this one space right now. This is what matters. As Econ is starting off lost now. Ooh, amazing spin point immediately from the get-go. I was about to say it's worth to say that his spin point, not his spin point, his lost was going really well last time. Hopefully being able to match that again. Crazy spin point here as well. Very fast. Man, this guy is insane. Cappy turn jump into the moon right there. Well done. Having confidence.
Yeah, this is just really good pace. Like, there's no other way to put this. There is some chat going on. I don't even know how to say things like that. Those are some bold claims coming out from SMO.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, Econ's pace right now is very strong. Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay, yeah, absolutely
Okay.
strong.
That death
very,
is not
very
gonna
strong.
help,
Very strong pace for Econ right there.
Yeah, very strong. Gonna have to be dealing with the bridge right now. Gonna be having to get this. Okay. Able to improvise that just well. Yeah, that jinx is completely on the chat, and good and good decision from Equan afterwards to die a second time, because that the jump back to
And that would have been close.
to the Odyssey is definitely a lot harder when Klepto is triggerable.
Yep, very risky. No, Curbs is definitely saving a big chunk of time right now. Now this race really turned around after this. Gonna have to say that for sure. Let's see, this fade out happening here was, I think, a 22-16 for Equan. Curbs now waiting for this moons to be acquired, but that obviously changed things up a little bit now. It was worth to say that this race, as mentioned earlier, was on really good pace. However, this was comparing against the race world record from Curbs, which is a 1:0:19, and that is like some Curbs level mid game. And even though Equan has been playing really well in this mid game, last race, it's really hard to match Curbs on his A game throughout the mid game.
Right, and in theory it is still somewhat doable, given that that death does not lose 19 seconds.
That lost death?
Yeah.
That lost more than 19 seconds.
Did it? Okay. I don't know much.
Yeah, I would be sesurprised if it didn't, because not only did he die, which alone takes 10 seconds, he also had to return to that spot, and then he died again after the bridge. So overall, these events and loss probably lost him more than that.
If SMO wants to give us the stats yet again on that fade out based on the race world record splits, be my guest so I can see a lot better like what's going on.
Yeah. Now that lost death, I mean that race world record is obviously a nice thing to get, but I think this race could be more than just a quest for a race world record, because obviously after that mistake, Curbs is still very close. Both of them in the city are at the same time right now. Econ obviously got the moon already, but what used to be a pretty solid lead has just diminished by quite a bit.
So just to answer questions, yeah, 1:00:39 from Equan in the first race. He is playing very hot.
And once again, Econ. I mean, it sounds like, everybody of these guys obviously wants to go to pace, but I mean, I'm obviously also friends with Econ, and I know that he definitely cares about going. He didn't really see his chances to be too high. He knows that Curbs, on average, got way better race times than he did, but I think he really wants to go and he really put in some work, specifically for, racing, specifically for maybe full-on runs, maybe did a little bit more of full Kingdom practice than just like early game resets. And it's showing off. It's showing so far. I mean, this Wiggler also going pretty decently for Econ here, getting that 2-cycle to work. Curbs pattern is about to be revealed right now, which also goes to show that the lead definitely shrunk quite drastically. We are gonna have a fade out happening soon here that will pretty much tell us what we are looking at now. Curbs is making some missed shots. Hopefully this one landed. It didn't.
Yeah,
Hopefully
Wiggler Troubler.
He will.
Okay. Okay, he's fine. He is fine for now. Equan is going to be able to remain in the lead, but it certainly seems like Equan is definitely trying, is putting up quite the good fight right now, and everyone loves a good underdog story, of course, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were definitely some people rooting for Equan right now in the chat, as I have been seeing quite a few Equan emotes.
Alright, so 33 fade outs for Equan, 55 for Curbs. We're looking at a 22-second difference. This used to be a lot more, but after this Wiggler, Equan might have made up some more time. Now going into day match. And I did bring up that storyline earlier. Equan actually missed the scoot clip in his last race. Let's see if he's able to get it this time, and he will. But yeah, Equan with the best time in day metro, Curbs with the best time in metro overall. Let's see how this metro race is playing out.
Oof. Curbs having a little bit of a mess up on this Dram setup.
Scoot clip, probably even more important to get. Will get the drive-by strat. Pretty much synced up moon grabs here, but Equan is 2 moons ahead at this time.
Yeah, this is confirming that lead is about, 20 to 30 seconds, I believe.
Used to be 22 getting into this kingdom, but with the mistakes Curbs had at the start, we are probably looking more than 25. Might be close to 30 right now. And Equan is playing very well. Very nice movement there. Keeping all of the speed, not getting any bonks on any fire hydrants. Playing it safe, honestly.
Okay.
Technically, it would be best to path yourself between the fire hydrant at the streetlight. He just basically dodged both of them. Was able to do so. The taxi was not in his way. And kept the momentum all the way.
Yeah, Curve's having to do some interesting reactions to a taxi cab right there, bouncing off of the hood.
But Curbs made that even better.
And he's improvised very well on the taxi cab cycles that he was given.
Curbs showing off how the real men do it, going between the fire hydrant and the streetlight, showing off. Up throw roll cancel to spin pound. This must be like Curbs' new favorite thing to do or something. Instead of doing the long jump or the spin or the normal roll cancel jump, going for up throw roll cancel there, keeping his line straight, which is definitely faster than doing. Oh god, Egon, that was close. But that's definitely faster than doing the RCJ because you have to take an unoptimal line. I think the long jump should still be best because you just spin pound the scrap part immediately, but very cool adaptation there from Curbs. Oh, getting the spin pound, but not the roll. And now, actually, let's look at coins because he died twice and lost. Pretty interesting to look at. 80. Yeah, a seaside first visit would be best here for sure from Equan. So we might see these guys split up for a little bit. There is enough coins in snow to get to 100, but going to seaside first would just be faster.
Ooh,
unfortunate mistake.
That is gonna cost him quite a bit right now. Missing the second awning. Gonna have to set up a second time for that final moon.
Okay. The reasonable thing to do right now is pick Seaside first. Going to Snow first, once again, you would be able to buy the moon at some point, but the time you lose picking up these extra coin strips would be way more than just doing this one menu input to go to Seaside.
It's very true, but the muscle memory says otherwise a lot of the time.
Yeah. As long as he keeps it in mind, you can just mash B throughout this text right here. Then you will not auto-select Snow. One D-pad down input, and you're good to go. Getting those coins in Snow is pretty awkward. Have to do some weird spin throws. He's done it. Selected Seaside efficiently. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm glad Chad mentioned that for me right now. Did the timer thing just happen right now?
Joe, no.
Because I wasn't seeing like any difference in gameplay, but the timers randomly started changing. I think. I'm confused. Oh, okay, I'm getting some confirmation.
Oh,
I can currently pause the timer, so it's
Okay, so that's just a live split misinformation there. So I believe the race streamers can just give us a little visual representation of what the actual times are in a bit, but you know, until then, just keep in mind that they are in the same times. I believe, although now Espa's saying the whole stream paused. Yeah, people are saying the whole stream paused for 20 seconds. How do we miss that?
I would be I am very confused at that. Actually, we might have been mesmerized by Equan making the mistakes in the people's room. That would be like my only explanation. But yeah, interesting stuff. Commentators not paying attention, being mesmerized by equanimity SMB. Well, doesn't matter much. As you said, we will probably get a resync happening at the same time. And actually, if anything, this is the best time for this to happen. We are currently in different kingdoms since Egon was forced to go to Seaside first due to his coin count. So it's going to be the best to just look at a specific lead change again when we are visiting Luncheon. Instead, let's focus on Equan now grabbing this one moon before us going through the clip section. LilKirbs didn't get the snow clip on the other screen. Try to go for it. Doesn't lose much time if you miss. Equan is going to have to deal with this clip 100% though. This is a clip you can't not skip out on. Interesting cheap position. Not even that close to the boundary, but still making that work. Let's see if he's able to grab this moon. I mean, grabbing the moon is easy, but if he's able to also stay out of bounds, and he will. Ooh, Curbs. Oh, this would have been beautiful. Try to go... This... Wait, what? Did the spine just jump off? Oh no, I think Cappy actually hit it on his way back. I was about to say, it looked like the spine actually just ran off, but it didn't. Curbs wanted to go for a very stylish spin throw to get that one off, but it works regardless.
Yeah, Seaside is a slightly faster kingdom than Snow Kingdom, so even if there wasn't a lead here, Equan would still be going to Snow before LilKirbs goes to Seaside. Is it Equan or Equan? Which one?
Oh, nobody knows. I just call him Equan.
Nobody knows.
I just decided at this point.
I was just going by what you were going with.
Literally no one knows. I mean, you know, I always call him Equan, I think, because of like... Wait, actually, do you say equality or do you say equality? For like the word.
Honestly, I don't know right now.
Me neither. I thought it was equality, that's why I always called him Equan, and I'm just gonna stick with it. Nobody can change my mind anymore.
I think I said equality more.
Equality. Interesting. Doesn't matter, he's Equan for me, and nobody can change that. Right, going through snow again. Pretty, once again, one of his most practiced kingdoms recently. This time he actually got a nice movement into the entrance surf area. At the same time, we are going to have to watch Curbs hopefully making his attempt at Snowdram.
Here's one way we can do it in a way that makes it so we are definitely on the same page. Do you say esport or esport?
Hey, that's the decided one. All right, we are probably just getting a wait. No, there was another pause. I was about to say, are we getting a resync happening now? The timers are like even further apart. As Curbs' stream was freezing there a little bit. He did get Snowdram, but yeah, timers right now a little bit off. Looks like it's even freezing a bit more. Hoping to get this on track soon again. It is definitely worth to say that Equan is still in the lead. Also worth to say that Curb still has to go through Seaside, which Equan has already completed. Timers now around 50 seconds apart. I'm pretty sure we are getting some resyncing going on very shortly. Production is informed at the moment.
Okay. Yuhuan gonna be going for his little trick there. Is not gonna be triggering things in the way that we that LilKirbs mentioned earlier, but is still gonna have a pretty good movement there.
It's still nicely done. Being able to grab the Sermon right now. Production giving us word that the resync is gonna happen shortly here. So do not get confused if the left screen is about to stop for a little bit right here. Looks like it's going to be the 3650.
There's the pause. Trying to find the good spots where it's being done during a cutscene, so we're not missing, so it doesn't look like we're missing too much. So yeah, we're just going to be concentrating on Curbs' screen for a little bit as the timers get back to being in the same timing.
Yeah, let's see his movement over to the Cheap. Was doing the triple jump earlier, assuming he's going to do the same again. Don't fix what isn't broken, and makes that work nicely. 15 seconds to go, then we should be back on the actual difference here.
And it still won't be fully clear, given that, yet again, they are in different kingdoms right now. They did decide on different kingdom orders.
Yeah, the only instance we really have is obviously the moon count. Now it's worth to say that you couldn't really say that Curb is 6 moons behind, because these last 2 moons in snow are relatively slow. At first we have to buy a shop moon, then we have to warp Snowdram, while being one of the faster options in snow, still not necessarily fast.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a lot clearer once we get out of these two kingdoms, going towards, I know my kingdoms.
Lunch time for Equan, and he's pretty consistent at this trick. Haven't seen him miss much, made that pretty easily as well. And gets the global right here. Now this is looking like a pretty solid lead still. Curbs is still gonna have to go into this loading zone, grab another moon, warp back.
Yeah, this exit right here is actually going to give us a clear idea of the gap. So the fade out on Equan's side is going to be a 38.02. Meanwhile, LilKirbs is looking to be getting somewhere in the 38.20s, maybe 38.30s.
Yeah, it should be 27, so pretty close to 25 seconds right now. Alright, this is a solid lead for Equan, 25 seconds leading into lunch. And now, once again, we did mention earlier that usually Luncheon is Curbs' playground, and we did see Econ make some early mistakes on Sol Triple the last time he went there. Looks like he got a little bit more height. Still gonna be kind of close, but makes the dive happen. Nice roll cancel jump into the moon. Very well done.
Okay, I'm now having a bit of connection problems with Discord as I did just have a frame skip on my side, but hopefully that's not happening stream-wise.
Looks good for us here. Curbs with an extremely tight roll there on the very ledge, very close to the lava. Makes the roll across though. Also had some tiny issues grabbing the first moon, so Econ overall with a little bit of time step across Luncheon so far. Where I actually don't even, I need to rewatch that on the restream. That was such a fast way of getting Spirit's head off. I didn't even see what happened. I rewatched right now and I think it was a spin throw, but it happened so fast that I at first didn't see what was happening. Pretty cool. Okay. Once again, the more relaxing part of Luncheon so far. It is worth to say that we are probably going to be seeing another approach from Equan as far as the next part of the movement is concerned. He's probably going to be going for the backflips up here and then the rolls across, something that he has been consistently doing. Gets pretty nice rolls as well. Good stuff.
That just in general looks safer than the other strategy.
You shouldn't. You know, it does. I agree. But the thing is, you really get intrigued by Luncheon's geometry. These blocks seem like a nice surface to roll on, but sometimes you do a roll input and you just go back or like to the very right. It's just that rolling there can be weird. And
Alright, okay.
Whenever you're confident at the other move, I think that's fine sticking with. But Equan took the time to look at that way of approaching that section and is probably saving slight time with it.
Right.
Okay, now this time Equan is actually making the work, running all across the island. It's going to be actually throwing Cappy before the pole even jumps, making it possible to capture it as soon as possible to lava, even diving towards the pole. But that's one of the best completions of that section I've seen.
Equan going crazy right now. On another level.
Yeah, honestly, this Luncheon is insane. Do you remember what his exact fade out was on Seaside?
I think it, well, he can't, yeah, I think I recall saying 38:02.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't remember the minute.
Yeah.
I don't remember the minute marker, but that sounds right.
That's that does sound about right. And he didn't really make any mistakes so far as I'm aware. And he also went for some advanced strats, such as that strat right there to capture the Podoboo, and also the Salt Triple was really nice with like an RCJ. Losing some momentum here, slightly cursing on this one. I was really excited to see that final lunchtime, and I still am. But other than that, this luncheon has been phenomenal.
Yeah, doing some interesting setup for that turnip. Looks a bit slow. Honestly, in some ways, just saved themselves. And yeah, that turn gonna have to reset up for that turnip clip right now.
Once again,
this turnip.
Oh no! This time he actually kills him. Was this last matchup or was this matchup where this happened before? I think it was Chaos that had that happen to him. Last race we've seen that, like someone bonked and they didn't kill the Panbro, but since Econ actually was still in his hitbox while standing up, he ended up killing that Panbro, and that's a pretty big time loss.
Yeah, that's
Curbs just came in a lot closer.
Very sizable. Equan's still in the lead after all of that turmoil, though.
Alright, we are far from over from this one. Equan's luncheon time is not going to matter that much anymore after this tremendous mistake, but it will still matter how this race goes. We see them both basically waiting for that moon. Now it's worth to say there's also an entire cutscene and the moon grab cutscene, but we might be as close as 10 seconds, actually less.
Yeah, this is less than 10 seconds.
Looks like something like 7 or 6, so that is scary.
Oh, and LilKirbs is going to be messing up on this strategy after the ground pound moon. Is going to be able to recover it though.
He does know the backup. That's crucial for this segment. If you fall, you can actually run up that slope, boosted by the lava. Crucial that he knew that. I think pretty much every top runner knows that because that happened to him, and it's crucial to know. But if you don't, then yeah, things get spicy. Kirbs knew the backup, played it well, and
I also observed
his
that
loss.
I believe that Iwan actually did a different pathing after that ground pound moon. So he, in some ways, either knew that it was coming and just decided to dive in a different direction instead of towards the usual path there, or he might have just like done some pathing as a way to not risk it at all.
So I'm going to do some over-analyzing right now. Ikewan actually didn't do the spin pound spin for roll cancel this time to capture the globe, which sounds like a super minor thing. He just went for the jump cap throw, and this is really interesting because that might actually be an instance of him maybe watching the stream, knowing what's going on. You don't want to miss that globe in a race that close, and really interesting to observe these tiny things.
And I do believe I am seeing a pretty much an exactly 10-second gap based on the luncheon fade out there. I believe it was a 31 to 41.
All right,
so much closer.
Even though Ruined is probably one of the kingdoms that is least likely to change that, we did see Equan get a little bit of a weird roll angle at the start there. Kirbs is really consistent at this movement, will do the long jumps once again and save some time over Equan at the start.
And as we are in the second one, of course, and actually just seeming to have a lot more downtime, at least in our commentary, we can at least mention pace this time around and give a bit more of a sizable advertisement for it this time. So yes, the exclamation point pace in the chat, or exclamation point tickets in the chat. Tickets are still available for it, and it is in less than 3 weeks at this point. Almost, actually, probably exactly 3 weeks, because it is Friday. So it's gonna be very fun to be there for it. Top 4 of this one. Now, whoever wins this series is gonna be there. We know Chaos is gonna be there. Sorry for spoilers, but we do
and
know.
Just briefly throwing that in there before everybody freaks out. When Troy says series, he doesn't necessarily mean this best of 3. This is basically a series of series. Yes. Whoever wins this series takes the first point. This is going to be up to 3 best of 3s, but whoever wins 2 best of 3s first is going to make it to pace. So if Econ wins this game, he needs to win another series, and then he will actually be qualified to be there. But at first, he obviously has to win this race. But yeah, pace or first event. Not only very exciting racing content up in 3 games, we also going to have some showcases and live runs brought to you by not only Troy, but also me, and also a ton of other notable, very big personalities in the speedrunning community. Check out the schedule and type an exclamation mark pace.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I do want to say though that we're gonna have some hot commentary from people. Not myself gonna be there, but you know, there certainly is going to be some other commentators that are going to be doing some very good jobs. I think that who has been chosen so far is definitely going to be showing some good stuff. Yeah, making things hyped for the viewers is very important. So getting the right commentators is also important.
Hey, I take it as a compliment. Whatever.
I'll take it as a compliment, and it's also going to be the fact of I'm going to have to step up my game, it seems, if I'm going to be invited to such a large event next time.
All right, I think you're doing a good job. Regardless, let's see. Fade out's happening. Still 10 seconds. What is this? No lead change in Ruined. Honestly, almost expected. Actually, I didn't quite expect it. I thought Kirbs might have made up some time because the early game movement from Econ there was a little bit off. But overall, yeah, looking around the same at Route 10. Now we might actually see Kirbs take a fake lead here. I don't know how long exactly it takes to get this extra moon. Might not be exactly 10. This is a pretty fast moon, but do not get fooled. Equan is, yeah, it's actually gonna be Curbs in the lead right now. Equan is grabbing this extra moon over. Oh wait, it's actually super close. Wait,
Yeah,
they're synced. Nah, that's actually the same frame. It's over.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a pseudo sync coming in right now.
Yep, same frame for sure.
Yeah, Equan 1 moon ahead, but is gonna be having some frame syncs going on, based on where they.
Wait. Holy. Equan's still a couple frames
Equan ahead.
in the lead.
Yeah, like less than a second with those frames for that moon. Honestly,
Right,
right
but once
now
again, this is fake. Once again, just letting you guys know. Ooh, the synced cutscene failure that looks like Curbs skipped a little bit earlier. But this is fake, basically, since Equan already has an extra move. I guess the fancy movement didn't matter there, Equan.
Yeah, we are going through Ghostbusters with how like this is a we can see right through this thing. And
well, that's gonna be some time loss. That's actually the second time this happened as well. Once again, this is a fake sync because Equan has an extra moon. They are not actually at the exact same pace. Equan always picks up behind the big one moon.
They are taking a slightly different route right now in Bowser's Kingdom. Equan going for the bird dram moon, while LilKirbs is going for the traditional crate route of Bowser's Kingdom.
Yeah, and it looks like Curbs has around a 5-second fake lead right now. It's gonna take him probably at least also around 10 seconds to grab that extra moon behind the crates. So it looks like Equan's lead is only as close to 5 seconds. It's pretty much as close as possible now, going into the refighting sections. Very nice instant dive.
Yeah, bird dram isn't that much slower. It's really at this point the decision to be a bit safer, which is what Equan decides to do.
Yeah, exactly. For Equan, it's probably faster to do it because he just doesn't like going for the most crazy movement. He does like to go for the most crazy movement here at Harriet again, and that's also going to be interesting. Actually, we don't have a sync going on anymore. I would have liked to see if those spin pounds to get towards Harriet would have saved him some time. Because that's some fast stuff there coming out of Equan. Oh, missing that one phase. That's actually going to be quite detrimental. That's a pretty big loss overall. It's going to have to basically chase around Harriet for a bit.
Curbs might have taken the lead with that. It's hard to tell right now, given that Curbs is still a moon behind Equan.
Really hard to tell. It's definitely gonna depend on his way of collecting that crate more. Now, it's actually like the way Equan did the bird dram moon is faster if you don't go for the instant triple jump to get to the crates. So let's see if Curbs goes for that. But it won't matter in the we are talking like less than a second of difference between these moons anyway. So we'll really see them come together again when they capture the bird. It's probably going to be the easiest time to see it.
Yeah, if they end up actually being like right on the money tide, it's actually going to be look really elegant, like some sort of dance where Curbs just meets Equan in the exact moment where the.
I'm probably also going to get a heart attack during mech, but
yeah, where the two routes just remerge. If we get this is going to be really cool. So yeah, Curbs is going to be doing his movement towards crate just before Equan, so we'll see if this is able to even out or not. This is... okay, what are we looking at?
Took a little bit of time to actually break the crates, but it's coming out of the pipe a little bit earlier. Now Equan is going to make those lines a little bit tighter and is actually getting to this section just a tiny bit earlier. Curbs getting attacked by the bird. But yeah, Equan actually still have to adjust a little bit, and this grew off of the Pokio attacking him.
Okay, so now we are on the actual lead here. We can see very clearly that Equan is going to be staying in the lead, but it is not by much at all. We are looking at less than 5 seconds apart between these two runners. Something that could very much switch in this Bowser's, in this mech fight, and also even in Moon Kingdom if we get to that point as well.
And if anything can decide a lead change immediately, it's gonna be this guy. And it actually almost does immediately. Curbs actually taking really close, bonking, but making that bonk work so that he lands on top of Rango.
Yeah, still on top of Mecha Brutal right now.
That was really crucial. He is making that second hit count, and we are going to be looking at 2 synced up, hopefully synced up target acquireds here. Obviously have to hit Harriet first, which is a hit that you can actually miss. Let's not underestimate that. It's pretty easy to hit this out of all things because you cannot really fall, but you still want to make that hit count now. Let's look at Econ first. He's going to make that 1 count. Gets very quick dives, immediate spin pound.
Wow.
That is what you want to see. Curbs? Oh no, don't tell me his stream is actually freezing because it is for me.
Okay, yeah, that is Curbs getting some more freezing. We're gonna have to do another resync, which is gonna cause a little bit in just a little bit in pause of how hype this match is. I don't know about you, LimQ, but I actually have gone from being on the edge of my seat to actually standing right now.
Dude, this is pretty crazy. I hope we can get some timer resyncs in soon. We are definitely going to be working on it because in a race like this it will certainly matter. Looks like Curbs does have some technical issues right there. We really want to sync these timers back up. Let's keep in mind actually, which is something that you guys don't know and that Troy and I don't know. Econ is actually a lot further into this run than we think, right? Because we also had to obviously like delay his time a little bit, so who knows what he's actually going through at this moment. But let's sync up these timers real quick if we can. Looks like Curbs' stream is a little bit unstable, so might have to wait a little bit. But this moon is going to be a make or break for sure.
Okay, I will be looking at the exits just so we can still get some things going on. Curbs still having some unstable stream right now, as we are seeing that he is freezing once again. So, yeah, I requested from the race streamer a sync, but in my mind, I feel like he might just wait until we see that Curbs' stream is fully stable before we do it.
Alright, I do not want to make any bold claims because obviously the timers are still getting resynced and we do see some streaming issues here from Curbs, which is obviously the most unfortunate time for that, but at least we are in the less scary section of Moon at the moment. The outside movement, while you want to play well here, still not super scary.
Okay, so we are getting confirmation from the restreamer. Yeah, we are getting the timer pause right now from Equan, so that is not stream problems coming in from Equan's side. That is actually actively being done right now by the restreamer. However, that pause right there from Curbs, I'm pretty sure that is, this is the stream.
Yeah, that's probably the stream.
Being unstable. Everyone just pray for Curbs' internet so that we can get a good race happening and see the timers as they are.
Okay, we made the attempt. Curbs still a little bit blocky out here, but looks like we made the attempt and it looks like Equan is around 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds yet already at that other platform on Moon here. Also with some pretty nice vectors.
Still very much possible for Curbs to make it back right now, as less than 10 seconds is certainly something that could be lost very easily.
And I'm not sure if Curbs actually ended up bonking that, almost looked like it. Oh no, Equan is cutting that Moonskip pretty close, is gonna actually do the cap stall, and I like that. Once again, it's a little bit faster than not doing it. Let's see what Curbs will do. Things like that might matter if his stream is allowing us to see it. He's turning into weird matter. Okay, I think he made it.
Yeah, getting some artifacting right now on Curbs' stream. The quality right now, seriously. I do see prayers happening in chat, but I don't know if they are prayers for Curbs to win or prayers for Curbs' internet to become stable again.
I mean, I hope they are for a good experience overall. This is incredibly tight. And I think not even Curbs' internet can handle the pressure. I mean, it's kind of understandable. This is such a high-stakes situation, and it's obviously really unfortunate. Especially if a race close like this. It seems like Curbs' stream caught up again. We are fighting Bowser right now. Econ is done with the first phase, and Curbs is also doing it on his own.
Yeah, Curbs pulling out the splices right now to make sure that he can potentially have the best chance to win. Yeah, the big brains happening.
But looks like we are good to go, at least for the moment. Equan now at the second phase of the fight gets the head grab, very crucial. A missed phase like here could immediately eradicate his lead.
This is still crazy close, and I don't know what's happening on either end. All we can see is if Equan makes a mistake, and that will be the impact that we'll see of who can take this.
Absolutely agreeing with you. It's the last phase now for Equan. Obviously going for the damage boost here makes it a little bit easier to grab that head. Will make it count, and that's crucial. Curbs also at the third phase right now. Let's see if he can grab that head. He needs that as well. Will be able to get it as well. It's really down to escape. A race like this can be decided in pillars. The escape section itself isn't really suited for actually changing a lead like that. The pillars is probably what we're going to be focusing on.
Something as simple as a bonk could change the lead right now, which is something that you only think of as changing the lead in something like Sand Kingdom. Right now we're at that point, and we're at just the escape sequence, the final area of the game.
Let's see if Equan makes the bold claim to jump across these blocks on the right again. I hope not. And this is the high pressure situation. Equan not opting for these jumps. It's so interesting to see. And I mean, it's really make or break right now. He cannot even miss a claw right here. To skip obviously incredibly crucial as well. But the pillar room will really be the decider on this one.
Yeah, the fast pillars is gonna actually be this. I don't even know how to fully go through this right now, because this is about to be some insane runs. If they both are going, yep, Equan is able to successfully get to D-skip. Curbs also going for it. This is going to be coming down to pillars.
Alright, Equan's lead is actually still pretty solid in the grand scheme of things. Pretty much one wall behind Curbs here. And clawing into the final wall. Curbs needs to break these couple of walls. And pillars is gonna be the decider here.
Yeah, this is... Okay. Equan gonna be starting out right now with the pillars, gonna be getting on the first
Very
one.
fast,
Good fast
pillar.
movement. Yeah, gonna be getting every fireball on it, but Curbs is gonna be able to follow the lead here and get that first try on it as well. Not missing any fireballs so far on either side. This is coming down to crazy.
Right, this last pillar is also still interesting. Equan getting the shots in. I think he might have missed one at the very start. Gets the pillar plan. Oh, he doesn't actually! What?
Oh
the pillars
God,
are falling at the same. Oh no, not again.
Oh no, don't do this to me!
Not again. What?
Oh, is Curbs actually gonna win that based on that missed fireball here?
I think he might have.
I don't know. We might have to go on this frame count.
I mean, we will need to go on a retime regardless. But
oh my, yeah, this is gonna need a frame count to see. Have to go into the deciders.
Interesting situation. So we might need a retime before we decide about that last race.
Yeah,
it is a pretty big lead, but with the stream thingies going on, you know. Wow, and Equan, dude. The last pillar. Dropping it right there, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, so missing the fireball on Equan's side is gonna cause what seems to be Curbs taking that one. So something as simple as that, just having a slightly better pillars room right now. So yeah, it seems that before, considering we don't really have time for a frame count, we're just gonna play it out like Curbs did win, it seems, is what's going on in the chat.
Okay. Interesting stuff.
Okay.
I think we should probably at least first check like the votes. It's an awkward situation, guys. We are figuring this out right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to make this decision a little bit conscious before we just do another race. And
yeah, this is gonna be on the fly decisions, because we do have right now a schedule to abide by, and I believe there is Mega Man X races after this scheduled, so we do have to decide this. We do have time though, you know, there is a bit more than an hour, and of course these races take priority to the to the Mega Man X stuff. But I, you know, it seems the runners are going to take a bit of break, but I don't know if I can go take a break because I need to know what just happened. What result are we gonna go with?
This is actually so weird how this last pillar ended up being the decider in this one. Like, those pillars looked so good from both of them, and then Econ missed that one last shot, which just made that decided the race. It's crazy.
Okay, yeah, it does look like the call has been made to do our best to actually see to do a read time of the frames to actually see who won.
Right, guys.
Espa is giving a read time, but he's saying it's not.
It seems
No,
it's very close. So
yeah, this is gonna take some decision making.
we're
Okay,
getting decision making done, guys. I think Curbs is also taking a little bit of a break. I think the smart choice right now is not to assume stuff, but instead actually let the officials handle the situation. We will be back with information. We will be back with potentially another race. So let the situation revolve right here. I'm also gonna need a little bit of a break after doing 4 races in a row. So we'll be right back.
Yeah, you can go. I'm gonna stay here with the viewers and inform them on the result as soon as it occurs. However, I'll probably just rest my voice for a little bit, but I will be sitting here and tell you if a decision is met as soon as it happens. All right, so it seems that we're getting confirmation from the restreamer right now, being Milo. It looks like we are gonna go through with the decision of Curbs winning this match, gonna give him that point. Of course, we will give ourselves more time to examine exactly how big it is, but in the little time that we have had to do retimes, it appears that Curbs has won it out. Very close timing, though, and so we are gonna be going into the third match. And yes, the third game of this series would be played today, so we will be playing that in a little bit. Just, you know, stick with us for a second, as I believe Curbs is still resting at least. Equan has given the ready signal at this point, but I think Curbs is still waiting around. So I'm gonna actually go run and get myself some water. If LilKirbs comes back before me.
I am.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna get myself some water quickly. But it seems that we are gonna be going into a game 3. Curbs has been decided to be the winner. If that is fully true or not, it is not 100%, but we seem to be a lot more sure than we were before.
Yeah. All right, that's good stuff. Good to hear. And also very interesting. Obviously, Curbs improving his time. Both of them actually getting a 100 this time. Equan dropping a couple seconds. Actually, 17. Let's see if he can step it up again. Maybe increase the performance he just got, which is going to be hard, honestly. I mean, it really came down to this very tremendous lost mistake. It was such an amazing run before that. Alright. Let's see. Curbs just getting ready. Taking a little bit of a break himself. Obviously, doing 3 races in a row requires some endurance, to say the least. Equan also getting ready himself. But yeah, double 101 is obviously just showing us how incredible this caliber and this specific matchup really is. I mean, and this third game is obviously not even going to be the final decider. It's going to be very detrimental to get one series under your belt. Really nice to have this one series to potentially play with. But we'll see. I'm not sure who I would favor in this last one. Right, Troy's back himself, just waiting on Curbs right now, obviously taking his deserved little break after a nail biter. And as soon as he's back, we will be doing match number 3.
Yeah, it's very true. And I think it also seems to be that Curbs is recognizing that his play has been a bit shaky in these past 2 games, and so is wanting to take a bit of a longer break just so he can calm himself down. So yeah, perhaps we'll keep the commentary to a minimum just for a little bit while we rest our own voices while Curbs and Equan rest their hands.
Does seem like that Curbs at least returned from his break. Just gave us a cue right here that he is ready to go. Gotta keep in mind that the stream obviously has to catch up quite a bit. We had some heavy delaying throughout that last series since Curbs' internet was dropping a little bit here and there.
Very true.
Even though Curbs might be ready right now in real time, you guys and also Troy and I will not see him actually go to the screen quite yet, but we are about to hop into the third one.
So I will just say, for questions that are going on in chat while we're waiting for the streams to actually show that they have started, that this is the first best of 3 for between Curbs and Equan for this for playoffs, but they did meet once before. They did meet in their one match in the regular season. that they had. So they have played against each other this season, just not in playoffs yet. This is their one and only time to play each other in.
For sure. Now it looks like Curbs is getting rid of his file, so probably going onto the start screen right now, actually getting some real-time, not some real-time, but we're actually getting some starting, we're getting into the starting position
I
for
have a
the third time.
question. Is with Curbs going out of the game and deciding to calibrate controllers, does that affect cutscene loading?
I don't think it will. I think to actually get a longer load, especially at the start here, you would need to completely quit out of the game. Since the timer did resync right now, we will at least see that, and it looks like we have pretty much the exact same load here at the start, so that shouldn't have affected it. And back to Cap. We've seen a 220 from Equan in his first 2 races. Would be pretty awesome if he can do that a third time. The story of this matchup so far has been Equan taking a pretty nice lead early on and then trying to keep it. Last race, Lost kind of denied him a little bit, and then obviously Luncheon coming in really big. The missed tournament clip, probably one of his biggest time losses in that run, together with that lost death.
I do also want to say, by the way, this is with this result going on and with us going to game 3, this is going to be officially, it seems, or actually really unofficially, considering we're still not 100 on that retime. The first series that we're having without a full sweep in the playoffs.
True. The first time this series actually went to 3 games. It looks like Equan already is close to 2 seconds ahead. Again, going into top. It's also going to get a faster hit here. Again, also going for the spin throw hits. And that's actually going to be interesting. We might see history repeating again on this specific split.
Yeah, Egon just having consistently better times of Cap Kingdom than LilKirbs.
Yeah, actually, that's a 219 for Equan, unless the timer is lying to me, but this looks like a 219. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, and 221 on Curbs' side.
So 2 seconds apart again. Equan stepping up his early game even more now. He did get a, I think, 5 or 6 cascade last time. If he plays out of his mind, he has the potential to even better that again, which is mad.
That is very true, and I have to say right now that Equan playing very consistently today. And as I say that, bonking right there is going to have to reset. Yeah, did not go far enough away. This is looking very painful. I don't know how he's going to find the distance. Okay, able to get it finally. So this is going to be a painful Cascade Kingdom for Equan. Curbs is going to be able to take the lead.
Yeah, that's very bad. Not in terms of actually the time that Equan is losing, but just in terms of the way he's been playing. Like, it's been pretty much either Equan is playing really well throughout and not making many mistakes, or getting some really unfortunate mistakes and actually being kind of thrown off his confidence. And we've seen some pretty nasty times when that kind of thing happened. I hope he can recover from that quickly, just forget about it, and go back to the amazing play that he showed us earlier.
Yeah, very true. I honestly want to say that just in my mind, I feel with the bonk happening there, it looks like that is just a very difficult jump to set up a second time around. To like properly figure out the distance that you need to go and everything. It just seems like with the way it's set up, just going towards that wall for the actual first moon skip there seems a lot easier to do than to actually try to find a backup. And also, I don't think anyone would really practice a backup very much. So it makes sense that Equan had as much trouble as he did after the bonk to actually get back up there.
Yeah, it's especially interesting since these runners don't even do the wall jump at all. Most of the time they try to skip that. And for the backup, you definitely do want that. So, a little bit weird to deal with it for Equan. Now, actually, chest flip hasn't been working for Curbs in both of his first races. This spot looks quite nice, so he's a little bit further to the left. So I would be surprised if that didn't work. And almost falling back out of bounds, but getting the spin throw out there and actually making it work. This one might actually not work for Equan because he's a little bit further to the right. Oh, still got it tight. And very nice spin throw as well.
Yeah, he's able to pop back inbounds as well as a way to make sure that they are able to capture the Odyssey properly. It did actually seem like a bit of a slower chest clip in general just because of that, though.
Right, now
The path
turning the
might have been
tides
a bit longer.
a little bit. 5.8 exit this time for Curbs. Looking at 19 for Equans. So 11-second lead for Curbs out of Cascade. Now Sand is pretty much Equan's kingdom, his strongest suit. The one kingdom where we might see Equan take his lead back. But actually let's look at fast action guide skip this time. Curbs will get it, will matter in a series like this. Like, once again, I actually kind of want to go back and see if both of them did get fast action guide skip last time, because that might have just straight up decided the race.
Yeah, that's crazy to even think about. Yeah, we had less than a second going on between LilKirbs and Equan in that last race. You know, we were going through, acting like Curbs won, but with that little of a difference, it's really going to take more time to fully, like, be decided.
Choosing the Rumble Room again. The sane decision here in Sand Kingdom. I was honestly, like, just for a little bit of a second asking myself, maybe if Equan missed that first shot, maybe he's like, dude, I need to go all or nothing right now, which is actually the wrong mindset, because this is obviously not the last series. I'm thinking maybe in like an all-deciding game, it might be worth to be like, okay, I need to go for everything right now to beat him, but Equan has shown that he can beat Curbs even without anything extremely crazy. And that's probably what he should stick to, especially since, once again, even if Curbs was to win this game and actually get this first point through this first series, that wouldn't mean that he's actually already qualified. Equan would still have a shot at another series and potentially make it a third one to really decide who's going to the event.
Yeah, the decision to do Lake Crate would probably be a bit too huge of a play right now. But Equan having some trouble with the Sandran did look like he was going to be able to get it despite not getting the Cappy return jump, but then messing up and bonking before getting underneath there and getting that little hidden moon. I actually don't know the name of it, but a little secret one behind a wall or whatnot.
He tried to actually do an up throw right there. There's a pretty cool backup strategy. If you do miss that bullet bill initially, you can actually just climb the ice pillar, do a backflip into an up throw to capture the bill as it's shooting out of the cannon. However, that's obviously very tight, and he ended up not getting that bullet bill, so he had to then reset up that backup, had to climb, get the next bill, and overall obviously losing a little bit more time.
Yeah, at that point it was really hard to tell where the bullet bill would have even been at that point, so there was no real way to actually get a homing throw up that high. You know, you just kind of had to see the bullet bill itself in order to actually get the capture.
Right, let's see. This time Curbs seeming a little bit more confident, at least not missing the moon on top of the leaning pillar.
Yeah, both players are seeming at this point to be doing some fairly good sand routes. And, okay, I think the curse has been lifted. I can talk about it now. I was causing problems with Jaxi Skip to the point where even when I talked about it, it caused some problems for danced it in the last race I commentated, but it seems it has been lifted this time around, and neither player having any trouble with their Jaxie skips. I'm relieved. It's a weight off my shoulders in some ways.
Yeah, and once again, to answer a question right there, if we are going to be retiming, obviously, the second race officially once again, and this is definitely worth to say, so it's a pretty good question. If we would find out that Econ won his second race, this one would obviously be obsolete, but all we can really do right now is have them do a third race, and then if Econ wins again, he's obviously taking the series, and if Curbs wins this one, then we would need to retime officially the second race. If it turns out that Curbs actually won, Curbs wins. If it turns out Econ won the second race, that third race is invalid.
Yeah, so ultimately it comes down to if Equan wins this, it's a definite win. If Curbs wins this, it's a it will become a point where we actually have to go into meticulously frame counting the second race.
Yeah, as far as the information that I was told earlier, it looks like less than half a second of a difference by just frame advancing off of the stream output. So we are talking about less than a second. So yeah, retiming has to be done. Right, LilKirbs actually has been causing these guys a little bit of issues. We haven't really seen any first try amazing LilKirbs out of both of them so far. Let's see if Curbs is maybe going to be able to do it today. Actually gets Clippy to clip first try and will clip. The positive, the commentator's blessing coming into play this time.
Yeah, it's hard to say what happened in race 2, but we can definitely say right now that we have a lead for Curbs. And it is one that is going to be here to stay for a little bit, as this Lake Kingdom is going to have, honestly, just quite better have some very good pathing going on for Curbs with this Lake Kingdom.
Let's see if Econ is going to space out his rolls correctly this time to actually make it over that little ledge. Will do so. So he will capture the cheap sheep correctly. Very nice spot. Grabs that moon quickly. But Curbs obviously so far keeping the lead throughout Lake. Would be surprised to see a big difference, especially after the Lake clip segment. But going into Wooded, we've seen some sloppiness, especially out of Curbs actually in that out of bounds section today. Let's see if he's able to recover, especially the section where you have to wall jump to grab that moon behind the rock wall, which the game at least wants you to obtain through the tank. And he was lucky enough to back this up twice so far today. If you missed that, and I brought that up earlier, you will actually fall back in bounds.
Yeah, Gothic Logic is the one who's in charge of retimes, from as far as I know. I don't know if he's around right now, though. So I don't know if we are able to get the official retimer to be doing the retime during this own race. It's like someone requested in chat there.
Now, Curbs actually got, I think, a 54 fade out, actually, which is amazing for his Cascade, which, quote-unquote, only was a 508, and still getting that fade out is stunning. So this is probably his best race so far.
Yeah,
obviously making it pretty hard for Econ to catch up.
Yeah, Econ now, with that knowledge, about 30 seconds behind.
Getting hit real hard there in the start of Cascade, obviously, and also a little bit at that Dram section in Sand. But with Wooded coming up once again, a lead like this can be deleted in the nut clip section. Right, nut clip hopefully obtained by Curbs once again. It looks like he really likes to turn his camera in this specific way, makes it look a little bit sketchy, but this is the section I've been mentioning earlier. Ooh, actually struggling with it a little bit again, but at least grabs the moon on his second attempt, which is crucial, not only for his pretty amazing looking pace, but also for his potential results for this last one. Nice movement across the kingdom here to collect that nut moon. Very minor mistakes so far. Obviously, Equan now doing the tree route once again, so he's one moon ahead. I mean, he's obviously not one moon ahead at the moment because they're not really synced up, but he has quite a different moon. Ooh, super fast out of bounds. It almost looked risky because he was really wall jumping at the very edge. Very nice.
Yeah, Equan having some very good movement on that nut clip section. Pretty much optimal, save for rolling on the rails. That is, I believe, the optimal path is to just roll on that little thin rail that you got. But everything else, he seemed to be like the optimal paths.
Curbs obviously not grabbing the tree moon earlier, just grabbed the story moon instead. Gets floor roll skip that way just fine. Also allows him to basically have a safety check, but it actually misses the spin put on top of the nut. But very minimal time losses. Now it's worth to say that Equan is actually getting these tiny time saves here throughout Wooded. If he's able to complete this kingdom, he might make up some time.
Okay, Equan is going to be successful on that flower road skip. And so this tree route is going to be giving the time save that he needs.
Okay, very nice. Curbs the fastest meshing man on the planet. Obviously not gonna have a problem with avoiding that stun right there. What does have a problem again, it seems like, is his internet. Hopefully being able to get that back on track. Looks like the timer actually caught up again. Just had a little bit of a frame drop happening right there, but we are back on track as Curbs is entering the pipe. Some clean movement here towards that forest moon on the cycle, as Equan is also getting... I was about to say solid movement for that nut break, but his spin throw, I think, didn't come out, so the nut wasn't broken.
Yeah, not able to get the moon on the, on falling back down from on top of the nut. Jump back up for it.
Damn. I think Curbs is about to get like an 1807.
Curbs is snapping back right now.
But yeah,
showing that he can get his composure out. It isn't necessarily a bad day for Curbs to run. It is simply just he needed a bit of time to rest as he's getting an 1808.
I think might have still been 1808, yeah, at the very end, but it's still crazy. About 8 seconds of the best we've seen, but that doesn't mean much because, once again, you don't really count Goyuri as extra times because he's doing everything. But, I mean, you do, because once this man actually finishes a run, everybody is going to pop off. And, I mean, once again, it doesn't really matter. This is amazing. 1808. Equan with a 36, so he might have actually made up these 2 seconds throughout the completion of Wooded. We were talking about 30 earlier. But, yeah, still a long way to go to actually catch up to Curbs.
Yeah, I have to say that, it was looking at first like the first 2 races were showing that Curbs was not feeling it today to have good runs, but we're seeing otherwise right now as he is having some incredible pace in this Cloud Kingdom.
Is Curbs gonna close out the series with a consecutive race world record? He knows this man is on fire on this race so far, already in the 3rd phase of the Cloud fight, getting ahead without a problem.
Yeah, I'm not going to say yes or no
so
on that question at all, because that is quite a hefty prediction to make at this point in the race.
Stunning stuff here. 41 Cloud fade out, making his way to Lost. And Lost actually has been throwing these runners kind of a curveball occasionally. We've seen Bongs, we've seen run deciding or race deciding dives into the poison in the last matchup. So let's see how this scary place treats these guys today. Or not actually today, but this race. This kingdom has been in general looking a little cleaner from Equan today, but obviously taking this very costly death at the last time he went through his kingdom. Really notable that he goes for these tiny optimizations, for example. I'm not sure if he's going to do it again. I will point it out if he does. But especially this jump right here, yeah, actually going for the immediate jump into the moon. There's like the small optimization curves really slowing down there just to make sure to actually grab the moon. But Equan doesn't care. Spin pound, roll cancel towards the next moon. Good stuff. Getting the triple jump here. We've actually seen Equan stuff taking place after this. I think he was just going a little bit too fast with his spin pound inputs, which caused him to get a dive instead. But Kirbs closing this one out. Up for dive to finish the kingdom. What a legend.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that the race that we just had with how close it was actually was just a equal amount of spaghetti on both sides, being that Equan. Oh! As I'm saying that, Equan actually going to be taking a death on the cage triple, not quite getting the line correct. Gonna take damage from the bomb, and gonna hit himself with it instead of the cage, and having to go for the stone cage instead.
That is frustrating indeed. Equan not gonna go for the up throw dive from this angle, obviously. Having to grab the moon kind of from the back. And just loading in right here. Obviously, tremendous time loss there, taking damage as you mentioned, and having to go for the moon behind him. Really increasing Kirbs' leads. And even though this lead is obviously surmountable, if you actually look at Kirbs' performance this series, there's nothing really majorly that went wrong. These last series, pretty much, to summarize them, it's really Equan been kind of taking off in this early game, kind of showing this mechanical premise and then taking off by that. But right now, dealing with a discrepancy that big, I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. It's really staying calm and collective, not going for a strategy I actually really liked at some point, which is the elevator skip, or as Esper I think actually recently mentioned, the Goyuya cycle on that elevator, really liking that name. Just playing it safe, and this is exactly what he needs. I mean, this man is on incredible pace, he is playing confident, and should really fix that.
I mean, it makes sense to be calling it something like that, because Goryea, that's a really hard name to say. Goryea. Trying to use the Japanese. Well, isn't it RYU? So yeah,
Oh no.
Anyway, yeah,
going
to
for
call
spin
it
for roll cancel, probably
cycle.
actually trying to go for that elevator skip and then bonking against that wooden platform, taking that. He's still gonna do it again. This man really wants to prove himself right now. At least gets it, but at what cost? At what cost?
Yeah, so yeah, it definitely I'm definitely gonna say that, yeah, Goria is definitely gonna be someone who is deserving of having something named after him in the run. So if that's gonna be called the Goria cycle, I'll go with it. Cool. After I finally figured out how to pronounce his name properly, because it is a Japanese pronunciation name.
All right, it's Wiggler time here. Equan on the first cycle. We will not be granted to see what LilKirbs is actually doing on this Wiggler currently, as the screen is frozen in time. We are making sure to get this back on track. Kirbs has been having some internet issues throughout.
Pay no
this
attention
run.
to the Wiggler fight that behind the curtain.
But grabs a multi-moon right here, so we can at least assume that he got a 2-cycle.
Yeah, I'm pretty yeah, Curbs is local recording, so don't worry about us trying to think that he is Splice Gurney sort of thing. We're joking around about it, of course, but it's not really any sort of worry that we're having.
All right, Equan, pretty solid for himself. Misses these two shots at the very end, but cleans them up relatively well. The two quick ones, literally at the very end, to clean up that cycle. But obviously cannot really compare this to Curbs, as this one was blocked from our sides.
Yeah, also the anti-cheat measure happens very much as well. You can see the date that is appearing underneath both players' moons when they get a moon, and that is a date that has been essentially randomly given to the players by the restreamer. So that is one way. That is one way of showing that making it very difficult to splice this run.
Wow, Equan is really consistent at that fast strat over there. Jumping, throwing Cappy out of the double jump, looks clean. Let's see if this fast scoot clip is treating him well again, gets a drive by 2 out of 3 today. I think Curbs was actually able to get it 3 out of 3. So it's obviously an impressive feat on its own. Actually, it's kind of underrated how this strat still does screw with these runners occasionally. If we look at Metro, we look at more advanced stuff usually. But Scoot Clip is still a threat.
I'm gonna be very interested as to what Curbs is gonna get as a Metro exit, because this is looking really crazy. This could sub 30. Like,
this is way better looking than sub 30. This man is on some really hot pace right now.
Yeah, what do you want to say what the... I'm sure you know it. What is the record for a Metro exit?
The record is it's not going to be possible. It's in 29:29. So
okay.
A little bit out of reach, a little bit crazy, but this is probably at least 4x pace, I'd say.
Okay. That's still very, very cool to see.
Curbs not really having much time for mistakes here. He's just outrunning them.
Able to get the spin throw there. And getting a knowledge that the race world record Metro exit is 29:49. Thank you, S-Bob.
Yeah, that's definitely on pace to beat that. Going into this room right now. Usually... Ooh.
Okay, not bonking on entering the people's room.
Oh wait, that's actually... that's actually even better than I thought. Okay, grabbing moon, teleporting. Yeah, if I'm...
Yeah, let me keep crunching the numbers.
But this might actually... I don't want to make the commitment so early to actually say this, but this might actually be...
Wait until the globe capture. Just
yeah, this looks like a 26. Dude, this might be a 25.
So you're saying this is gonna be a Metro exit record?
by 4 seconds.
What? Okay.
Yep.
Curves? Yeah. Okay. Okay, Curves.
Okay, I mean, I was honestly not really judging. I mean, the thing is, I also didn't see how good his Wiggler was. It must have been a really good one to get a time like this overall. We also obviously didn't see that one, but I didn't expect that to be a 2x. I was saying like, okay, 3x is possible, 4x at least, but a 25 exit time. That's not even fair to race against.
What is this? Yeah, Curbs is really just on another level right now. Like, Equan thinking that he can, like, you know, Equan thinking he can get 2 points off of this, but Curbs just being like, you haven't even seen my final form, and is just going away with it right.
Yeah, this is scary stuff right now. And this run from a obviously deciding race also kind of just turned into like a world record attempt. At least we are still in snow. I really like to hold myself back on that before we get into like the very late game. But let's definitely observe what Curbs is doing right now. Doing amazing for himself. I actually didn't see the coin count for Econ. He did select snow though, so I'm assuming he was fine.
And yeah, I'll clarify, because it seems like we have a very important person entering in here as well, more people who pay attention to the stats. And yeah, that was a 29-25 Metro exit. That actually did just happen.
So, Curbs making these tiny mistakes and is still really outrunning the competition once again, beating these exits by so much, still getting snow clip. Good thing that we do have this very neat best exit cheat on the side here, so we will see after snow is completed for Curbs how this is affected in pace. His pace. We obviously also still want to look at Equan's run, because even though this is an amazing run from Curbs here, which definitely actually has potential to be the best we've seen, this is still a race, and Equan still wants to win if possible. There's much gameplay to be had at this point. Snow really only marking the halfway point.
Yeah, with the lead that Curbs has developed at this point, Equan just has to make sure that he plays the best that he can, get all the strategies that he can do, and just stay on the pace that he's on, and so that he has the best chance of actually getting the lead if by some disaster Curbs messes this up.
Yeah. It's really worth to say that these guys have actually been getting amazing at snow clip. The consistency that they've been showing really high. I think I've seen 2 misses in the series. The rest of them have been completed attempts. Just showing off how good they really are at this clip at this point. Oh, Equan trying to go for the spiny, for the roll cancel right there, actually getting attacked by the spiny. Not letting itself be pushed into the poison, so he's gonna get a damage refill here. Story Moon still refills your health with the animation.
It doesn't look like anything has happened in snow yet. I can't say anything about anything. But so far, everything that has happened in snow for Curbs has been
There was actually
good.
some cool stuff there, though. As they both entered the pipe from different rooms, so Shiveria basically showed up at the exact same time. Good stuff. Curbs now having to go through Snowdram, which in paces like these just turns into a scary trick again, weirdly enough. But we'll see if he's able to do this well. Equan now in the Goomba room, not opting for any crazy uncaptures.
Yeah, saving that Goomba from falling off the edge as well. Yeah, actually, that third Goomba was looking to commit a terrible act and fall off the edge there for a second, but able to save it.
Wow. Okay, I was about to say that. I haven't actually seen that from Curbs. He was going for the extremely fast camera setup and actually missing it for the second time in a row. Definitely tanking some time here.
Yeah, Curbs aware of what kind of pace he is on right now, so he was going for some bold strategies, and he definitely still has some. He definitely had some good buffer time to deal with in order to attempt something like that. But unfortunately, it did bite him right now, and so he is going to take a little bit of a loss, but not much. This exit is still going to be very good for Curbs.
Right, let's see. 34-12. This is actually not best pace ever anymore. Definitely lost around
Yeah,
10 seconds.
very much not best pace ever, but still pretty close. Yeah, only 6 seconds off the best snow exit. Thank you, for someone pointing that out.
Exactly. Well, it's actually quite the awkward spot for Curbs. Obviously, you got to figure out, is this a PB attempt now? Is this a world record attempt? Is this the race? And it obviously is pretty much all at the same time. So you kind of need to make the right decisions. Obviously, you want to go for the best strategies possible to potentially get the best time you can, but you also want to beat your opponent. So you might need to actually assess the risk. Is it actually worth to do that time save? Right now, it's still
Right.
been working for Curbs, but he needs to be careful over the grand scheme of the run.
Yeah, does he go for the riskier plays to potentially give himself a better chance to get what we're all thinking right now, or does he actually just play it safer so that he can get the win here?
Right now, Seaside is usually a home advantage for Curbs. I did mention, I think, in the first matchup that Curbs does still hold the record for the best, at least, completion of Seaside Kingdom. Has been showing some consistency on this today as well. Just needs to match the runner rolling through the screen at the same time. Here, as Econ just arrived, getting up to the first moon.
I don't know about you, LilKirbs, but I'm standing again. You know, I couldn't deal with sitting during this. There's too much energy. There's too much energy in my body to be sitting during this commentary.
I've been taking my stretch breaks. This is my 5th race in a row. I can't stand for 5
Yeah,
races.
that's
Actually, all of
very
these races
fair.
being pretty
I mean,
intense today.
You did have an hour break in between.
True, yeah. I did my laundry, so I got something done at least. Well, Curbs still going through Seaside. Now the very fast underwater moons. Hopefully getting this clip to work. We did see him actually losing some... Probably the biggest time loss in Seaside this last time was when he tried to play it very safe on that moon grab. You do want to play it safe, you do not want to clip back in. And even though that's something you don't care about in a record attempt, you just want to grab that moon quick. Once again, this is a race. If you mess it up, you have to keep going. He's pretty far to the left, but as long as, once again, I said as well, as long as you hold right there, you should be fine. Very nice angle, manages to dodge anything there. Gets split and throw in, grabs the moon.
Curve's still doing some really good pace. Meanwhile, Yukon actually getting a fish bonk in the moon shortcut thing there in Seaside.
Alright, now Moon's catching in. Pretty sure he did get a 30, a 12 basically, 12 extra time. The last time, it might actually... No, it's a 33, so that was a 21 Seaside, around 1 second of the best completion, but still can be absolutely happy with that. Really good Seaside overall. Just losing some time to the best time ever. Also, still want to look at Equan's screen here. It feels like we've kind of been getting mesmerized by Curbs' very outstanding performance, but Equan also with some good out-of-bounds movement. They're actually missing the chest for a tiny bit, but
yeah,
also now completing Seaside.
Yeah, continuing very true that Iguan still has to be playing at very good pace so that he has a chance to come back here. This is by no means a decided run at this point right now. Curbs could do something crazy, but you know, we're all of course not rooting for that to happen, as this is just a really good pace for Curbs in general.
For sure. Once again, another kingdom that is pretty well suited in Luncheon Kingdom. Actually, the kingdom totally decided his... I mean, you can't really say that when the race is like literally less than a second apart. Everything could have decided. We've been talking about Force Action kind of earlier. But Luncheon has been the kingdom where Curbs really suddenly got super close after Equan had some big issues there on turnip flip. Which, I mean, honestly, could happen in the reverse order right now. It's not like Curbs is completely out of reach for Equan. The difference has actually been looking around the same, almost. I mean, I think actually when Equan grabbed the moon last time from the boss fight, Curbs was just entering the fight, so the lead is still bigger, but it's not absolutely over. at Curbs stream tanking a little bit. This is, I don't think an offline stream. This is just him kind of wrong warping into the loading zone. So
yeah,
the
I
stream
do
just
want to
turned,
remind
like,
I do want to remind everyone that Curbs is local recording, so you do not have to worry about this being lost to time if this ends up being a really good time for Curbs.
still opting for the jumps across. We are probably going to be seeing Equan go for the fancy rolls again, something that's still a nice feat to watch. Curbs, not the nicest feat to watch right now. Amazing pace, but still some frame drops here and there. You cannot do anything against that. Keep that in mind. The internet is not always cooperative. Very solid luncheon so far regardless now. We will see Equan probably go for the rolls across again. Also still interested in Curbs' movement here. He will actually go for the roll cancel this time. Didn't do it in his last attempts. Looks like he at least got the speed. Hopefully also caught that Podoboo. I can only assume at this point. Oh, he might have missed it. Wait, how? No, that is awful. That was such a crazy luncheon, but that must have lost at least 5 seconds.
Okay, it's becoming really tight. We're gonna have to see through the exit what we're through the exit of Luncheon Kingdom what we actually are thinking. Because I think at this point there are a lot of eyes on this. I think all the stats people have been called in at this point and are looking at this run and seeing what pace this is currently on.
Yeah, can't really see records still being a possibility. Like, this is so unfortunate. I mean, I would have liked to see what actually happened, but getting that Podoboo there, still really tight. Equan, I think, is going to be able to make it work again. Actually getting a nice vector across, running across the island, still diving. This man has this section figured out. But Curbs, I think, this is pretty far to the left. And a little bit far away. I don't think it's just, oh, it still worked. It was like very, very barely. Nice job though.
Yeah, good turnip clip. Equan failing a little bit on the forks room. I can't make claims of saying whether or not this can sub hour. I don't know statistics well enough of this game. So I'm gonna wait myself of that claim until we get the actual split at the end of luncheon, because then we'll be able to give a good estimate of like what pace he's actually on. I don't know if you want to be
surprised even before that mistake. I would have been surprised, but with that mistake, he's tight. It's just crazy how good a run needs to be for sub hour. Now he's gonna get a damage refill there. Obviously lost his momentum going across. I would be very surprised. I don't think this is really... I mean, it definitely was at some point what Curbs cared about. I think it might actually be a relief that he can soon at least let go of that thought.
Yeah.
He might still barely reach. I doubt it though. This luncheon has just been a little bit rough with the Podoboo miss and that mistake right there. But it might also be a relief. Like at this point, you can just say, okay, I have an insane lead as long as I play it safe and as long as I'm confident. I'm gonna win my first series potentially. And once again, guys, we really do want to remind you that we still have to do this retime on the second race. Even though this is an amazing run from Curbs, we do have to retime the second race because if for some reason Equan actually ended up winning, this is just for show.
Right. And we're not able to get our official retimer right now. Equan having some trouble with this ground pound moon, having to ground pound for that like a couple times. And so it seems that a lot of people now with this split here happening, the fade out is going to be at about 43.50. So I think people are saying, yeah, at this point he's not looking to be getting a sub hour. But the race PB is still on the horizon. The race record is still definitely possible.
Yeah. And maybe Curbs just pulls out some insane strats throughout Bowser's Moon and maybe even Ruin to make a miracle happen. But once again, I do feel like I obviously can't really tell that in terms of Curbs' position, but it might also be a little bit of a relief to let go of that insane pressure of the amazing run this really was, leaving Metro once again breaking a already incredible best exit time that it was like unheard of by another 4 seconds.
Yeah, so people saying now in chat with the stats coming out again, looks to be about a 14-second lead on the race world record, given that lunch inning.
That sounds good. Now, LilKirbs did make a little bit of a mistake at the start of the round, but not losing much more than a second. Just having a weird angle. It's gonna definitely recover from that. And as Econ is heading into you, this is once again our little pace sponsoring window. If you guys are watching right now, you are watching a playoffs match. And the winner of this best of threes, basically, is gonna be qualified for PACE, our first live speedrunning event happening at the end of this month, where we will not only have amazing speedrunning content and racing content, but also showcases of different games. I'm personally going to do a glitch showcase. I'm thinking that Troy's, I think, doing an oil boy race. What is the name of the game, right?
Album.
Yeah, I guess I just can't pronounce English correctly because I'm not native, but that's at least what I meant.
No, that's perfectly fine. I understand the mistake there, you know, accents and all. But I will also say that if you missed any of these races between these two players and feel sad that, oh, I didn't get to see the craziness that was Iguan versus LilKirbs live, we will, you know, there's definitely going to be at least one more set of this, and that's tomorrow at 6. So you definitely still have some opportunity to see some craziness.
Yeah, obviously also still access to the video on demand also through our YouTube channel, which you can access by typing an exclamation point YouTube. So that second race is definitely one to remember. But anyways, good stuff. LilKirbs acquiring the multi-moon here. Once again, probably losing a second on this early movement, but overall, solid kingdom.
I wouldn't be surprised if our commentary just got is about to be featured on the rundown or something this Tuesday. I don't want to make a huge claim like that just yet, but I don't know. It's a fun show that you guys do, so, you know, plug the rundown as well. Cool. I don't know why you're doing it on a Tuesday this week, though, instead of a Monday.
I am not in charge of that, but doesn't matter much right now. We did get an 08 fade out right here, which is 5 seconds behind, I think, at least go Yuya's sub-hour time. That's at least what we have as the best exit time for the sheet. So that's how these last two kingdoms go. LilKirbs has been showing some good consistency. However, he actually had some flaws in at least the last mech fight we had on his initial climb, having to deal with the bonk on the Rango bubble, actually saving it, but that has been a pretty risky portion of his runs.
So we do have one person in the chat still hoping for this to sub-hour, saying what time he needs to get in order to world record. Yeah, 12:51 BM is required for sub-hour, 12:49 required for world record. Like, that is that even doable?
It's possible, but it's insane. Like a 12:50 is pretty hard to get.
BM is Bowser's and Moon combined, like just those two kingdoms. That's just by the way, yeah, body mass, bad manners. No, it's Bowser's Moon.
And the thing is, it doesn't seem like much, but even missing the spin throw like LilKirbs does right there, these things add up, and then suddenly something like, yeah, 12:50 is possible, actually becomes impossible. But once again, I think it's kind of unfair to also really reduce this race. I mean, obviously everybody's excited for the potential to this getting a sub-hour, but once again, after a long jump like this, the chances are diminishing. I do not want to kill the hype, but I think it's rather more fair to give LilKirbs some hype on this race that he's currently leading. Once again, he might make the unthinkable possible, coming back by like 0.3 seconds in the second race, and maybe even taking this third race now pretty convincingly. Potentially, once again, you mentioned that earlier, there's still another race world record on the line, and losing that one would actually be quite surprising, because if he does that, then Equan might realistically actually have a chance of catching up. Right. Pretty good section over there. Very fast capture warp, gets the instant dive. These kind of tricks are required for this 1250 BM that has been thrown around. It's heavy time. Oh, Equan missing the roll cancel jump. Trying to do a long jump, but actually getting a bonk over there.
Herb's having a really good area fight right there. That was really good manipulation of Chariot.
He's rolling across to fight Topper now. Oh no, and Kevin was in the right spot to at least save him.
Okay,
which is kind of the fortunate thing there. But now he's really struggling to actually back this up.
Cutting the bonk short there with the homing throw on the second try.
Okay, at least gets through there, but obviously pretty unfortunate time. There's no death, but hurts his overall pace quite a bit. Alright, Equan fighting Harriet again. He has been showing some advanced strats on this fight today. I am thinking he's at least going to stick with it. Going for the spin pounds. Ooh, that was early, but still makes that work very nice. Spin pound, roll cancel, jump onto Harriet. Smooth. Okay. Obviously, do keep in mind again, Equan has acquired the Bird Dran Moon earlier. Cops just had to grab that moon behind the corridor, and even though this lead is obviously not as little as it was previously in this last matchup, still is quite important when you perceive the difference between these three guys. But Curbs is now going to make it into the mech fight, and he definitely needs to play pretty well here to contain this amazing looking pace, and he obviously wants to keep his lead as well. Alright, very fast climb this time, not messing around, not bonking on the Rango bubble this time. Doing the good old rodeo on top of the mech before he prepares himself to actually get these two last hits in. After that is done, we can finally give you guys some accurate numbers on what's actually needed for the times you guys have been looking for. Defeating the mech here right now.
Sorry, I took some time to try to come up with a clever acronym for pace. I was, people gave a good one, but I want to give random words that actually still fit. Like the classic, what does PB stand for? Peanut butter. Like classic things like that.
The classic indeed. Now Equan is having some issues here climbing up first. Yeah, Curbs timer jumping a little bit again. The fade out just happened right there, but he's about to make his way over to the Odyssey, and then we will indeed see a timing. The timing we've been looking for. The timing of this Bowser's fade out. Maybe. If he actually gets out of this warp, he will. Once again, stream probably freezing during that white screen. Oh, I like Mario's look there, though. He's confident.
Yeah,
This man is really feeling it.
he's just taking a little bit of a rest.
I'm really feeling it. That's what he said. Okay, we do see the globe cutscene happening here. Moons filling up, 124 moons acquired. Wait. What?
54-44.
Was that actually that good? I'm like,
What the?
not sure if this timer is accurate.
What the?
Huh? Like, I
That's-
mean, I saw some
that's
visible mistakes in
doable.
Bowser's, but...
That is doable.
No, I mean, this is... If this is correct, this is not easy record pace, but at least still record pace. Like, if he gets the 510, then it would mean a 54. He could get a 14 and tie record. But I would be surprised. Like, this is really a really weird moment, because I don't want to promise you guys too much, you know? At the end of the day, something was wrong with the time at the stream delay, because the Bowsers look good, but not that good. But apparently it was that good, so I'm just gonna roll with it for now, I guess.
Yeah, obviously this will need another read time, and not because of how close it is, but because of the potential that this has to have on the leaderboard.
Yeah, once again, I really want to play this safe. This one I want to play safe and say, let's just watch what he gets first and appreciate it, but take it with a grain of salt, because once again, we definitely saw some jumpiness happening, and I would be really surprised if Bowser was actually this good. But
yeah, we're
I
definitely
guess
gonna need this local recording is definitely gonna be needed to be submitted, considering that we're looking at some what people would consider world records just in terms of exits. So even if this doesn't do something crazy at the end here, someone's gonna need this local recording just to see like a Metro exit, that Bowser's exit that just happened. Like, it's gonna be very, very important to actually see what those were.
Alright, boys, let's just pretend this is world record pace now, and let's get into the intense environment. This is obviously the Bowser phase, and even though these guys have actually been doing a pretty good job when it comes to that, losing anything, missing anything right here means it's dead. So let's hold our breaths.
This does not determine who goes to base. Not this one alone. Oh, Ekwon! Failing on the moon skip.
Actually, again, it's Batman, dude. I mean, Equan, I love you, but we all have to watch Curbs right now, because we're just gonna assume this guy is on record pace, now dodging this last flame attack here by Bowser before he's able to grab that last head.
Oh, that was... I didn't even realize that. That was New Moon skip that Equan was going for. That was the single wall jump. Yeah, that was the single wall kick moon skip that Equan was going for there.
Alright, last phase of Bowser time. One more hit and this is it. Time to start off the escape section. To give you guys a little update, it is possible to beat this escape section in less than 2 minutes if you have really good killers. I haven't really seen too many mistakes here in Moon so far, but this should barely be enough to potentially get back up. But Cobbs is immediately making a little bit of a mistake, and that's actually gonna hurt him quite a bit.
Yeah, the little things. Sub-hour is crazy things to be doing. And so this is gonna be some crazy tight timing. Gonna be having to do everything optimally right now just to be even close to what we're all hoping.
I don't know what it is, but this trick always gets really, really scary when the run is actually good. We've all forgotten of the fact that this trick is actually pretty tight, but Curbs needs to obviously make this. This could be a make or break, but makes this without an issue. He's actually really fast here going to the 2D section.
Okay,
and
also...
It's gonna be up to pillars.
I do also want to note that in real time, Curbs is already finished with this. So I am not going to be looking at Discord chat right now, because I don't want to spoil anything for myself as I am watching this on my own and seeing what this is going to end up being, as he is going to be entering Pillar's room at 59:06.
Obviously, Econ on the other end, by the way, only at 1 HP, but he's able to bounce Bowser back. Now, I can't really do my best impression of this one crazy guy commentating next guy, but at least it looks like Knobs is getting the first pillar. Actually, I'm not sure if that one-shot hit, but it did land. He missed one, though. Second pillar looking quite nice. Oh, he's missing a claw. This is so unfortunate. This pillar was actually not the way he wanted it to.
Whether or not this gets sub-hour, the race world record that this is going to be, like...
The race world record is free, but he's coming in at the final cube right here, slicing it up, and I cannot quite tell yet what this is going to be. Cube is going to break right about now. He's going to have to capture this, and this is close. This is close. He might have just barely missed it. He might have just barely missed the record, but this is at least pretty much guaranteed a sub-hour. Oh,
okay!
977 curbs with the third sub-hour in the world, slightly missing the record. Amazing stuff. So that pillar room slightly killed it.
Still getting a sub-hour. That is first sub-hour for Curb, so if this is real, we're gonna need the recounts, of course. Curb's actually coming in here at this point.
Yeah, we need some reactions, dude.
That run was insane. Absolutely insane. I wasn't even that nervous at the end because I've gotten this pace so many other times, but I'm so happy. I don't even care if it's not real record. That's race record by like
20 seconds.
Yeah,
you got like a 25 metro exit, dude. What is wrong?
I was on like mid 4x pace at that point, so I was kind of monk ass, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but, the metro exit was good, and then we were just like thinking that this was gonna happen until we saw the Bowser's exit, and we were just like, oh, okay, maybe this is actually happening today.
First sub out in the race. Let's go. That's hot.
It's gonna be let's go from me, dog. Now, it is obviously quite interesting to tell, and I don't want to kill your happiness. I'm sure you're happy, obviously. We still need to retime the second race, but assuming that the initial retime was done correctly, that would obviously mean that you just won the first series as well, while also getting that time.
I don't really care if I win or not, but
yeah, that run alone should be good enough for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually interested now, before Equan comes in here for thoughts on his own. What was that Bowser's though? Because I was almost giving up after you had like a little bit of a weird angle and ruined. But then I think you got like a 44 exit or something.
It was a 44. So I could confidently, I could have gotten the record, but I mean I kind of was nervous, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I knew I can get easily 515s, so I got just that.
Yeah. Well, the retimers are gonna run hot today. At least gonna have to retime that second race and probably also this one to see, because this is the third 59. Gonna see how this matches up there. The top is getting hot again. We also have Equan joining here after an intense series. So Equan actually playing pretty much out of your mind, not only in the first but also the second one up until loss, really also just as crazy of a run. And once again, we do need to make sure what the final time of the second race actually was. But yeah, run it back to me. This entire series probably kind of been a roller coaster, right? This last one, pretty hard to match up against, I'd imagine, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I never expected to play this well at all. I was expecting to get 2-0 in no time by like minutes each race, so I'm super surprised as to how well the first two went. And this one, like, I mean, after that Metro exit, I stopped caring because there was no chance at that point. It's really difficult to lose a minute, so I just did cool stuff after that, and it was fun. I mean, I'm sort of happy that I lost that race, so that Curbs got that time, because otherwise that might not have happened. So
Yeah.
GG's the Curbs. I'm probably gonna get destroyed in the next two sets or next set. Now that you figured it out, but I don't know. I'm happy with my performance.
Yeah. Obviously, to everyone watching right now, make sure to follow us on social media. We will definitely probably inform you guys in some shape or form about the results of this one, obviously have to retime that second one, and make sure to catch that rematch tomorrow. There's going to be at least one more series between Equan and LilKirbs, and if today has proven anything, then this matchup is about to probably deliver one more time. So make sure to catch this one live. I do want to cut it short here a little bit. We obviously are almost reaching our estimate here, since we didn't really, I mean, you can't really always plan on getting a 3-series race. That's what we did though, but we are even reaching the limits of that, obviously, with the retime shenanigans going on. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Amazing last race here, obviously. Shout outs to everybody watching this live. Obviously, shout outs to Equan and Cubs for this amazing series, and shout outs to Troy for some amazing co-commentary as well. But yeah, make sure to check out us all on Twitch as well. Obviously, everybody of us doing some content over there. And make sure to follow this channel specifically for more action in the upcoming days. Thank you guys for having us, watching us, and see you guys around.